the March 21st, 2024 meeting of the Town of Southampton Zoning Board of Appeals. This meeting is being held live and also via video conferencing in accordance with the Town Board's enactment of Local Law Number 14 of 2022. Our next meeting and those following also will be held in person here at Town Hall and will continue to allow for remote participation. So please keep checking the town's website for updates and any new information. If you wish to view tonight's live meeting only and not participate, please do not join the Zoom meeting and instead go to the town's website for viewing access. With that, I'd like you to join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. For those of you here with us tonight, in case of an emergency evacuation, please exit through the rear doors of this room and to one of the staircases across the hall and continue downstairs and out through the main entrance. Do not attempt to use the elevators during an emergency evacuation. In case of a medical emergency, the automated external defibrillator and first aid kit are both located in the hallway on this floor opposite the elevator. Restrooms are located across the hall from this room. We'll begin this meeting with public hearings. We have applicants and members of the public here with us live and also standing by via Zoom webinar, which is being moderated by CTV. CTV will mute the speakers on Zoom until it's their time to give testimony before the board. Please be patient. If you find that you are having difficulties accessing the hearing, visit the town clerk's meeting portal and click on the instructions link. Also, for those of you in this boardroom, please silence your cell phones and refrain from speaking to one another as it interferes with our recordings. Tonight, board member Helen Burgess is participating via Zoom. A reminder that applicants, agents, and members of the public speaking other than attorneys will be sworn in, will state their address for the record, and will offer their testimony as it relates to the application before the board. In order to consider properly every application before us tonight, individuals commenting on a particular application will have a time limit of 3 minutes. Also, before handing in any submissions to the board tonight, please make sure the documents identify the ZBA application name and tax map number. The application name should also be written on your certified receipts. Unless otherwise stated at the end of an individual application hearing, all applications will remain open for written comments for all purposes until a set date. Those written comments can be addressed to members of the board and sent via email, mail, and or dropped off at Town Hall to the board secretary, Candace Cowell. At this time, I would like a motion to approve the minutes of our March 7, 2024 meeting.
So moved.
Second. Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye. Okay.
There we go.
Keith, would you like to take us through the agenda for this evening?
Okay, there is some changes to the agenda. We'll start with item 4 and item 5. They're going to be adjourned to our April 4th
Read them
meeting.
for me. Read them and then I'm going to open them and then we'll.
Oh, you got, all right.
Yes, please.
Item 4 is Ann Silverstein, 38 Highland Road, Shinnecock Hills. Suffolk County Tax Map 900-209-3-72. Suffolk County Tax Map number 900-209-3-72. Applicant requests a determination that the subject parcel, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-209-3-72, is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to 331.15D.
The board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Bob for me?
That goes to Robert. This is going to be adjourned until our April 4th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tuthill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye.
Item 5, Ann Silverstein, 36 Highland Road, Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-209-3-73. Applicant requested determination that the subject parcel, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-209-3-73 is held in single and separate ownership from all adjacent parcels and thus entitled to relief pursuant to 330-115D.
The board has jurisdiction. Can you pass that to Bob?
I would
Thank you.
move to adjourn it to our April 4th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 6 on the agenda, Martha Chabla, 37 Fordham Drive in Hampton Bays, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-264-5-19. That's going to be re-advertised for our April 18th meeting.
Second.
No, so we don't need to vote on this.
We're not second?
No.
I take it back.
Okay. Item 9 on the agenda is Paul Gretsch et al. Suffolk County Tax Map 900-129-1-2.28 in Tuckahoe. This will be re-advertised for our April 18th meeting.
Second.
Nope.
Okay, thank you. Next.
Third.
Item 13 on the agenda, which is 3310 Noyak LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-14-1-66.5 in Noyak. This will be adjourned to our May 2nd meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye.
And the decision calendar, 142 Shore Road LLC. I'll move to reopen to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
And then I'll move to close it for a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Carla Serena and Michael Mazzano. I'll move to reopen to accept written submissions.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Aye. Chair votes aye.
Okay, then I'll move to close it with a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay, the following decisions will be held off to our April 4th meeting. Dreamview LLC, SGM Excavating LLC, and again, SGM Excavating LLC. The next two decisions, Matthew Frank and Eric J. Belfi and Tara Belfi, will be held over to our April 18th meeting. 370 Fowler Street LLC. I'll move to
Wait.
We have to
Vote on the
vote-
other
we
ones.
have to
and
vote
then-
on those.
Yeah.
Second.
Okay, so we're voting on 5 of them.
There's 5 of them.
Right. Mr. Tudhill.
370,
Nope, the
No,
other
we
ones.
have to vote on the adjournment.
oh, okay.
Okay, Mr. Tudhill?
Aye. Mike
Mr.
says for me
Daly.
to say aye.
I'm not trying to coerce you,
Mr.
but
Leonard.
I'm
Aye.
just trying to
Mr.
help you out.
Macedonia? Aye. Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye.
Okay,
I vote aye.
370 Fowler Street LLC. I'll move to reopen to accept written submissions.
Second.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Tonight, right?
Chair votes aye.
And with that done, I'll move to close it for a determination later this evening.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carries.
Okay. Southampton Housing Authority will be adjourned until our April 4th meeting.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Okay, and then the following decisions will be adjourned to our April 18th meeting. Roberto Cami, Mark Smith, and Heather Cole, Ronette Riley, J10 Properties LLC, Dil Patel, Aaron Appel, and Alexander Vineland.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Okay, then go back to the beginning of the agenda. Item 1 on the agenda. It's a minor variance review, so there is no public hearing. Kalamachi Group LLC in Flanders, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-142-2-22. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code for a proposed two-lot subdivision. 330-6, general regulations that references 330-11. Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for a principal rear yard setback from 50 feet to 47 feet to the existing dwelling and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction.
Okay.
Helen?
Helen, do you want,
Yes,
you want to comment on this?
yes, I do. I have a comment.
Okay.
Because this is a minor application, there is no public hearing, and I move to close the application, leaving the record open for the planning board referral report with a decision at our next meeting on 4/4.
Second.
Ms. Burgess.
I
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye.
Item 2 on the agenda, on the new applications is Sharon and David Wexler, 25 Shepherd Street in Quogue. Suffolk County Tax Map 900-383-1-21. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code to legalize the location of an existing shed constructed within the front yard, required front yard, without the benefit of a building permit. 330-6, general regulations that references 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimensional Regulations for an accessory distance from the street front yard setback from 70 feet to 10 feet from the easterly property line at Holman's Avenue, and 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, and 330-83C, yards to allow the shed to remain within the required front yard for the principal building and any other relief necessary.
Okay, Augie, did you do the posting?
Yes.
Okay, you just have to sign it again. It's supposed to be notarized today, not, I'll do the notary part, you just have to sign it again. Thank you. Board has jurisdiction.
That was like giving birth, huh?
Are you an attorney? And I need to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and your address.
My name is August Henry Muff, architect, and my address is 14 Pine Court, Northampton, New York. Good evening, board members. I am here tonight with the applicants, Sharon and David Weschler. The Weschler residence is a single-family residence located at 25 Shepherd Street and Holman's Avenue, which is a private road in the hamlet of Quogue. Suffolk County Tax Map 0900-383-1, Lot 21. The property is a corner lot with 2 front yards. It is in the R40 zoning district and comprises 52,245 square feet, or 1.2 acres. In the R40 zoning district, the minimum accessory front yard setback is 70 feet, and the rear yard is 20 feet. And the existing house meets all of the setbacks as well as lot coverage requirements. This proposed action is a type 2 action and therefore requires no review under seeker. All structures on the property have certificates of occupancy or compliance, and recently, the Weschlers were granted a permit for a hot tub and barbecue area. All required inspections were done including the final inspection, but at that time, the building department notified them that the 10-foot by 14-foot shed was not in a conforming location. My client said that when they purchased the land, when they purchased the shed, which was in August of 2021, during COVID time, they contacted the building department by telephone to ask them what the setback was for a shed and was told it was 10 feet and that was from side and rear property line. They didn't realize that Homan's, being a private road, was a front yard, but that's where the shed was placed. The Weschlers used this shed for the storage of gardening equipment, pool supplies, and bicycles for their grandchildren. There's no bathroom or plumbing or anything in it. It's not a pool house, it's just a garden shed. The current location is nestled in the trees and perfect for them, as the shed is in close proximity to the main house and near the center of the property, so is not a very long walk to any part of the yard. The applicant respectfully requests that the board to consider the variance that will leave the shed where it is. Additionally, they will make improvements by adding hurricane strapping and adding gutters and a dry well to prevent any runoff in compliance with the town's stormwater management program. Lastly, they would like to be good to the neighborhood and have received 3 letters and 2 verbal comments in support of the project. You have copies of those letters in front of you, and one of them is an email, and it is from Britton Bistrian, and I have the actual letter that she had promised to mail to me, but I didn't get it in time until tonight. So the granting of this variance will not create an undesirable change in the neighborhood or a detriment to neighboring properties, as all stormwater runoff from the structure will be kept on site, and the shed is barely visible from the streets or the neighbors' properties. Only an area variance can produce the benefit that is sought by the applicant. The relief is not substantial nor out of character, as similar structures can be seen in the neighborhood, such as garages, swimming pools, tennis courts, and trellises in the required front yard of those lots. And I've handed out an aerial photograph that has some addresses in yellow. All of those properties have accessory structures in the front yard, probably legalized with certificates of compliance, but nonetheless, it's a similar situation that the Weschlers have with their shed. The granting of this variance will not have, the difficulty was not self-created. The applicant thought they were putting the shed in a conforming location. The Weschlers are well-respected members of the community, and their intention is to seek approval of this application. We hope that the board will consider this variance favorably, and we are able to answer any questions that the members may have.
John, do you want to take the lead on this?
Yes. So, I noticed a notice here, referral to the Suffolk County Planning Commission. Could you talk about that?
No, that's something I have to do.
That's something you have to do?
Yes.
Okay. Other than that, my review of this, it's a lot burdened with 2 front yards. It clearly, the side that you're, that this is on is part of the rear of the residence. I appreciate that you brought in some letters from the neighbors. I also appreciate that I see that you've addressed the comments of the building inspector with regard to removing the word proposed from the shed on the survey. So I have no further questions with regard to it.
I have no problem with it.
Michael, anybody else?
I really don't have a problem with it, but I got a problem with the applicants here, building something without a building permit. We frown upon that here, so make sure you get that across to them.
I will,
They're here.
absolutely.
I
And
think
we-
they heard you. during
We
the
are
audience.
All right, good.
Yeah, we really do look for people to follow the rules and get building permits. for
I'll explain to them
structures.
the benefits of having a building permit.
Yeah. I have an issue, and that is, on your survey, it shows an 8-foot deer fence surrounds the property, and it's in the front yard. We normally frown upon 8-foot deer fences in the front property of any structure in our town.
That's correct.
So, did they put the fence up?
I'm not sure about that. I will find that out. And if it is,
It's
if
a
it is.
problem. It's a
yeah,
problem,
yeah.
because we often are given, requests for deer fences 6 to 8 feet in the front, and we always deny.
Mm-hmm.
So, I think that needs to be rectified.
I will definitely mention that to them and discuss that with them if it,
Let them know that, the deer were there before they were there.
yeah.
I mean, it can be in the rear, again, you have to have a building permit for an 8-foot fence.
Right.
Can't have a building permit for
No,
it.
but even,
6. You can only have a building permit for 6 for a residence, 8 if it's a field, like an
And-
agricultural field,
If it's in a front yard, it has to be 4 feet high.
4 feet.
That's
correct.
Right.
So,
So, yeah, we'll make that conforming.
all right, so would you make that as a condition of the variance?
I would
Well,
say
it has to be,
so.
it has to be removed. I mean,
Yeah,
it
okay.
has to be removed. I don't know why the building department didn't write it.
I don't know
like
why
that.
they
that
didn't
should
either,
have
but
been
we picked it up.
mentioned as
I see
So-
that. Yeah,
So that's an issue.
I understand. Okay.
Otherwise, I have no problem with the shed. And you said it's got hurricane something? Because we usually ask for some engineering or some report that says it can withstand winds of,
Well, once I'm done here, I'm gonna submit an application to the building department. I'm an architect, so I'm gonna design the hurricane strapping to tie the building down to the foundation. I'm gonna add a foundation to it.
okay.
And I'll be getting a building permit, it'll get inspected, and we'll get a certificate of compliance for
Okay.
it.
Okay. Anything else? Anybody else have a comment? Okay, so John, you're the lead on this.
So I move to close the public. Oh, wait, anybody in the audience?
Gosh,
Anybody on
I'm so
Zoom?
bad. I'm so sorry. Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Thank you so much. Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? No one on Zoom. Okay, thank you, Kevin. Okay, John, sorry.
Okay, so I move to close the public hearing on this application, hold it open for written submissions to, hold it open for written submissions by April 5th with a decision by April 18th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay. Okay, thank you very much.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. I learned how to drive a go-kart about 55 years ago on that street right there. I was gonna tell him.
Okay. Item 3 on the agenda is Hampton Bays Connections, Inc. Suffolk County Tax Map 900-221-3-18.12. Hampton Bays, 196 West Montauk Highway in Hampton Bays. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code. 1, for 6 freestanding signs. 1, 330-205B3, general provisions. 330-131H, drive-through establishments. And 330, attachment 9, to allow 6 freestanding signs, 2 pre-menu signs, 2 menu signs, and 2 canopy signs where only 1 freestanding sign is permitted. 2, 330-207A, illuminated signs, and 330-248-5, is that Q? Q.
Q.
Specific plan development districts to allow 6 internally illuminated freestanding signs in Hampton Bays West Industrial Plan Development District. HBW CIP DD zone where an illuminated sign shall only be in highway business zoning districts. 330-205B, 4, general provisions to allow the 6 wood or wood-appearing material
Wait, you skipped a line.
To allow
Allow
the
6
6
freestanding signs.
freestanding.
signs to be constructed of different metal, where all such signs shall be made only of wood or wood-appearing material. And 4, 330-210.1C, design guidelines for the use of multiple colors for the freestanding menu and pre-menu digital signs, where only 3 colors are allowed. 1 for background, 1 for contrasting color for the lettering, and a 3rd color perhaps for emphasis, such as for borders, motifs, or shading lettering to give it a 3 digital menu board signs on 2 drive-through lanes. 330-131.2D, restaurants, drive-through, to allow the proposed signs to have an area of 19.99 square feet each, where no freestanding signs on 2 drive-up lanes. 330-131.2D, to allow the proposed signs to have an area of 10 square feet. Internally illuminated springboard, canopy, order here signs with speaker, to allow the proposed signs where no empty canopy signs shall be permitted. And 2, 330-131.1R, restaurant, fast food, to allow the use of outdoor speakers for placing orders when no outdoor speakers are permitted, any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. This is a rule for you, Keith, because you're the lead.
Are you both attorneys?
I am.
Okay, then I need to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Can you please state your name and address?
Sure. My name is Paul Going. The last name is Going, just like the word going. And my address, I work for Atlantic Traffic, and our address is 275 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay, and could you please state your name and address?
Yeah, this is Taylor Gonzalez for the law firm Brown Altman DeLeo, 538 Broad Hollow Road, Suite 301 West, Melville, New York, 11747.
I'm sorry, could you spell your last name for me?
Yeah, it's Gonzalez.
Okay, so tell us about the application.
Okay, so I'm here today for the McDonald's sign variance applications for the McDonald's restaurant located at 196 West Montauk Highway, Hampton Bays. As a matter of housekeeping, the public notice mailing and posting were performed in accordance with the town code and were submitted prior to the hearing. At this time, we'd like to submit the following documents in further support of the application: an aerial photograph of the property, survey prepared by Gallus Survey Group, signage plan prepared by Core States Architectural and Engineering, the July 7th, 2022 administrative site plan decision for the second drive-through lane with the approved site plan, and the certificate of occupancy and select certificates of compliance for the signs on the property. With me this evening are the following experts who will be available to answer any questions you may have. Paul Goings, and joining via Zoom is Brian Searcy of Core States, the project civil engineer.
Okay, so if Brian speaks, I have to swear him in?
Yeah,
Okay.
understood.
Okay.
The applicant seeks to make the following improvements to the existing McDonald's restaurant and drive-through: to replace the existing internally illuminated menu board with 2 internally illuminated menu boards, and to add 2 internally illuminated preview boards and 2 springboard canopy order here signs with speakers. As can be more discussed by our experts, the purpose of this application is to improve the overall efficiency and safety of the drive-through by modernizing the signs. As general background, the property is located in the Hampton Bays West Commercial Industrial Plan Development District. The property has been improved with a McDonald's restaurant since circa 2004. On July 7th, 2022, the Town of Southampton Planning Department administratively approved the construction of the second drive-through lane. The surrounding area is predominantly made up of commercial properties used for retail shopping. To the south of the property is a Stop and Shop. Further south, buffered by a wooded area, is Sunrise Highway. East of the property is a vacant building, and then the Hampton Bays Plaza with a Panera Bread, Petco, and Macy's. To the north, across West Montauk Highway, is the Hamptons Vacation Inn, Life Storage, and Classic Beverage. And to the west of the property is an antique furniture repair shop, which currently has a site plan application for a furniture store, nail salon, and second-floor commercial offices. Based on our review, the proposed signage is not inconsistent with the planned development district or prior town precedent. In fact, this application is substantially similar to the McDonald's application at 30 Flanders Road, where 2 menu boards and 2 pre-brow boards were approved by this board on December 7, 2023, decision number D023141. As previously noted, the existing restaurant is improved with an internally illuminated menu board, which is 41 square feet in size. In comparison, the menu boards will be smaller, as each will have an area of 19.9 square feet. The smaller menu boards will now be paired with pre-browse boards, which are 10 square feet in size. This means each lane will have 2 boards with combined size of 30.9 square feet. Additionally, there will be 2 canopy signs with speakers, which will be approximately 11.5 feet in height. It should be noted that the new menu boards, preview boards, and canopy signs will be screened from West Montauk Highway by the wooded area in front of the property and will not be visible to motorists on the roadway. The proposed signs will not result in a negative impact to the already commercial area while improving site circulation and site safety. With that, I'd like to have our experts answer any questions you may have.
Okay, Keith, this is your lead. Do you have any questions at this point?
Not at this moment, but
Okay.
seems like a lot of relief to me.
Well, I went back and juxtapositioned the Lake Creek approval that was in December of last year. And the differences are that you're asking for 6 freestanding signs as
Yes.
opposed, and that includes the 2 canopies. You're considering those are freestanding signs.
Yeah, we were told those were considered signs. At the Lake Creek property, those already exist.
They exist.
But because the double drive-through hasn't been built here, as it has been at the Flanders site,
Okay.
those don't exist
Okay,
here
so
yet.
they have canopies there.
Yes, they do.
They
So
were
technically they
pre-existing.
have, yes,
Okay,
they were
so-
pre-existing our application.
And this is, and they're considered freestanding even though they're, like, they go up and they go across
Yeah,
the
the town
canopy.
considers them freestanding.
Okay, everything else looks pretty much the same. But I wanted to ask you that, well, Keith, the building department had a couple of
Yeah.
questions, I think. Do you have the building
I
department
do have a
comments?
copy of it.
Okay,
I don't
do
have
you?
right in front of me, but
Okay.
I have reviewed it, yes.
It says the information on the survey used to create site plan shall be referenced on the site plan.
Yeah, we will make that correction when we
Okay.
resubmit.
A demolition sign permit for existing outdoor menu board sign that was installed without benefit of necessary approvals shall be filed with the building department.
Yes, we understand.
Okay. And the plans will be revised as follows. Remove the numbers 1, 2, 3 next to existing sign schedule.
Yeah.
And plan shall show the width of the drive-through lanes to comply with section 330-131D.
Yes, we'll mark that as well.
Okay, so you're saying you're gonna meet all of the
Yes,
points raised by the building department?
most definitely.
Okay. Anybody have a comment from the board before we go to the audience?
I don't believe any of this is visible from the Montauk Highway.
No, it's completely screened.
That's
It's
what-
a very thick wood,
I've been there
so,
numerous times.
yeah.
Yeah, this is really in keeping with what we approved in December. I mean,
Yeah.
it's pretty much identical, so,
It's meant
we
to
asked
be.
we asked questions then. I don't think we need to, repeat ourselves.
Yeah.
And I think you satisfied us because we granted the variance, so, anything? Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application of 196 West Montauk Highway? Anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard? Okay.
So we do have to refer this to the planning board. I had a conversation with,
Oh, all
with
right.
Taylor earlier about this. And I kind of just, I think we should bring them back once we hear back from the planning board, just because one of the outstanding things that I did want to flesh out with, the applicant was just, this is kind of unusual because this is, the creation of this lot is a result of litigation and, a PDD. And that's the referral that the write-up says it's 33248, it's actually supposed to be 05Q. So I just, Taylor had kind of just mentioned it, but I wanted, maybe, I don't know if you put it in your written subs today, but I kind of just wanted her to put in the written subs or maybe respond when she, when we bring them back, just how this is consistent with PDD.
What's PDD?
It's a planned development district, it's what this one is called, it's the Hampton Bays West Commercial Industrial Plan Development District.
Right. You did mention that.
And that created McDonald's, right, and it created the grocery store.
Yes, so the McDonald's was a prior application that was kind of held up in the litigation, and then it was approved and added to this PDD.
So I just want to make sure that that the variances that they're asking for, that if the board grants, aren't inconsistent with
With
that.
the
Because
PDD.
oftentimes,
Okay.
if you're making a change to a PDD, you have to go back to the town board. I don't think that's what they contemplated with this. I don't think they would want to be reviewing applications for signs, but I just
I
wanted.
do have a copy of the section on signage, if you want me to read it into the record a little bit. Just
Sure, you
to
can,
give
or-
some
or-
context.
Yeah, I mean, or like I said, you can, give the board the written submission of it.
You can't see from the street.
It's, because when you come out, there's a big wooden.
Just to give a little context to you all. So the signage section, which Katie has just mentioned, states, all signage on the site shall comply with the dimensional requirements of Article 20 of Chapter 330 of the Town Code, except that the McDonald's ground sign and one directional sign may remain as approved by April 1st, 2004, and specifically as followed. Wall signs shall not be internally illuminated, which none of our wall signs are. The building shall be permitted one wall identification sign, subject to the limitations of 330-206E. You have a certificate of compliance in your packet that shows that we have a certificate of compliance for our wall sign. For the purpose of said section, the HBW CIPDD shall be considered to have one street frontage. One freestanding pylon sign shall be permitted at the front entrance and shall comply with the following. The sign shall be set back 20 feet from the property line. The sign shall be limited to an area of 40 square feet, maximum height of 12 feet, with a minimum clearance of 2 feet below the sign, and the sign shall not be internally illuminated. That is for the pylon sign at the front of the property, which you also have a certificate of compliance for. And then directional signs throughout the site shall be kept to a minimal amount, and if provided, shall be a maximum of 2 square feet in size, wooden/rustic in nature, and found to comply with the overall signage objective of the article. So nothing in that section specifically talks of freestanding signs, which means we would have to comply with the standard sign ordinances of the town code, which we are requesting variance through,
Are
but
the directional signs wooden?
the directional signs on the property, they might be.
Well, because it says in
Yeah.
there that they're supposed to be wooden, and you're not asking for a variance on that.
Yeah, those were
Okay,
approved with the original
there.
approval, so
Yeah,
I
it's
I
wooden,
don't
yeah.
know what they're
Okay.
made of
Yeah.
at this time.
okay.
It's wooden, yeah.
Okay, I thought they were, but,
Yeah. Are they?
Yeah, they are.
yeah, it's a wooden, like, enter/exit
Okay.
sign,
Okay,
I
good.
believe, yeah.
Good.
Yeah, I
Thank
see,
you.
I see, and I recall now.
Thank you very much.
So your additional signs will be wooden as well?
No, these
they're
ones will
metal.
be metal, the standard, like, ordering boards.
But could the metal be decorated to look like wood?
It's not really possible. They can't be changed too much because of the electronics within. The metal has to protect it all inside.
Yeah, because, I mean, as a rule, I'm not really in favor of this. It's, unless we're obligated to under the PDD or whatever those agreements were. It's a lot of signage for a town that does not permit a lot of signage. So I understand why you're here asking for it. Anything you could do to mitigate that, you know, I as one person would appreciate it, but I'm just one voice, one vote.
The sign there, it's not, you're gonna take the one that's there down, it's
That
gonna be
one's
two.
down.
What, the total
Yes,
square
but
footage
they'll
is-
be smaller in size than
Yeah,
what's
how much is
currently.
the increase in square footage gonna be, if at all?
So each will be, currently what's there is 40. There will be 30 in each lane. So 20 square feet
20 square.
for 2 lanes now instead of 1.
Instead of-
So,
Well, I think when we last heard this, an application similar to this, you know, the comment was that it'd be very difficult to restrict to 3 colors, you know,
Yeah.
and all of that, because, you know, you've got the the French fries and the hamburger and
Yeah.
the soda and the blah. So,
Shakes.
so we kind
The
of.
Shamrock Shakes,
Right,
can't forget
we kind of
those.
understood that
Yeah.
some of what we really look for in terms of signage with regard to this franchise is
yeah,
not,
with menu boards, it's just
is
very hard
a little
to
bit
meet.
difficult
Yeah.
to meet.
Yeah, same thing with the internal illumination. You won't be able to see the signs at the later hours if they're not illuminated.
Did we put restrictions on the time when the lights had to go out?
No,
I don't believe we did.
no, we didn't.
On the,
What time does it close?
what time do they close, McDonald's?
The drive-through closes at 1 a.m., I believe.
We did not on the last one, as I recall.
Yeah, and it's a commercial district.
Yeah, it's next door.
It is a commercial district. Is it,
Yeah.
are you permitted to, are they
right in front.
permitted to operate 24 hours if you chose to, or?
I don't know in the planned development district. I do think
Anybody know?
generally.
I don't know the answer to that, but I'm presuming that when they did the PDD and they did the secret review, those are the types of questions that got asked. If the property is gonna be 24 hours, then we gotta look at that from the traffic and everything. So my guess is they would have to go back and ask for 24 hours.
If it changed.
But
So
we
this
have
was
no
already at the
intention of-
planning board, right? Or no, this will now go,
This was for this particular application
Was.
to be signed, was referred, we haven't commented yet, it's Claire's project, so Claire's aware of it,
Okay.
and we'll bring it to the planning board to get their
So we gotta
comments.
wait?
and the planning board approved to have a double drive-through, a second drive-through?
Yes.
Yeah, that's
That they
that's
did,
surprising
the
to
admin
me.
To do that,
Yeah.
yep.
Yeah.
I never thought we'd have double drive-throughs here in Southampton. Never
sorry.
mind single
I
drive-throughs.
apologize.
Well, it's
yeah.
No, no, I'm
getting the
just
traffic off the
expressing-
highways, you know, I mean, it's
Yeah, I think
moving
that
the
was one of
traffic
the
back.
arguments.
We didn't
that
think the
they wanted
expressway would
to-
go past exit 61 at one point.
Right. It's not your
Things
own
change.
Kansas anymore.
All right, so this it is at the planning board, so we're waiting to get comments from the planning board. So, I guess we have to kind of leave this open for now. And,
Wait, no,
and the planning
Suffolk County
board's,
Planning Commission, too.
The planning commission as well?
Yeah,
okay, so we're waiting for
it's on Montauk Highway.
local
Right,
town
right, right.
planning board and Suffolk County planning board, okay,
So we just gotta hold it open.
yeah. What, do you have a time frame?
I mean, we'll do it, for April, I just don't know which meeting, so,
Should we set this for May, maybe?
yeah, can we
The
do
only
first?
week- the only realistic week of it would be May.
That'll work,
Application.
we'll get the
May
comment.
Okay.
May 2nd or May 16th.
But that'd be to come back,
But, yeah, to come back.
okay,
To return.
Let's go with May 2nd.
Is that-
Yeah.
okay. All right, Keith, this is yours.
Comments from the
Oh,
audience?
thank you so much. Are there
From
any
the
comments from
electronic-
the audience on this application? Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to comment on this application? All right, thanks, Kevin.
Seeing and hearing no one, I will move to leave this open for all purposes to our May 16th meeting.
I thought
May
you said
May
second.
second.
She doesn't run the board here.
Okay, May
May
16th?
May
May
16th.
16th.
Second.
Okay,
Third.
All right?
okay, Mr. Tuthill,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Mastonia.
Aye.
Go get it.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Okay, we'll see you on May 16th.
Thank you.
16, thank you. Okay.
Moving right along. Oh, Lord.
All right, then, next one is gonna be Stephen Klein, item 7 on the agenda on the new applications. Stephen Klein, 99 Lumber Lane in Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-71-1-24. Applicant requests relief from the following provisions of Town Code for a proposed two-story addition to an existing dwelling on a non-conforming lot. 330-6, general regulations that references 330-11, Residence District Table of Dimension Regulations for a principal minimum side yard setback from 20 feet to 15.6 feet, and principal total side yard setback from 45 feet to 38.1 feet. And 330-84D Pyramid Law for a sky plane encroachment of 962 cubic feet on the north side and any other relief necessary.
The board has jurisdiction. Can you pass this to Mike, please?
Thank you.
Are you an attorney?
No,
Okay. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Please state your name and address.
Mayron Talley, 801 Motor Parkway, Hopog, New York, 11788, agent, architect for the applicant, for the owner.
Okay, thank you very much. Do you want to tell us about the application?
Do we need the notarized papers?
I'll take the originals.
I
I
can
thought
go
we
right-
had them. I guess we had copies. Thank you for reminding me.
You have jurisdiction now?
Yes, we do. I said
We
that
do.
based on the copies, but I didn't realize we didn't have the originals. Give those to Mike.
Okay.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Good evening. I'm here on behalf of Mr. Stephen Klein. We're seeking a number of reliefs. One is side yard of 15.6 feet in lieu of 20 feet that's required in R20 zoning, and a total side yard of 38.1 feet in lieu of 45 feet. Now, we have submitted surveys, obviously, to the board. Both of these side yards are existing, so we're not changing the side yards. We're working within the footprint. So technically, the only thing we're not complying with is the pyramid. And we're seeking 962 cubic feet of volume for the proposed bedroom. The house currently has 3 bedrooms, so we're basically adding another one, making a 4-bedroom house. We have submitted elevations, architectural elevations, and I would like to show the board members the pictures before and what you have before you.
Let's have the, give them to Katie.
Can I show it to the
You
board
can
members?
give them to Katie, our
Give them
attorney.
to our, to the attorney, and she'll pass them down.
Existing pictures. There's 3 bedrooms. And that's the existing house. The board members to see where we're putting the addition.
Okay.
Thank you. So if you were to look at the existing conditions of this house,
Hold on one sec.
I'm sorry.
I got a stamp. Pass them down. Mike's the lead, right? So those are originals, Mike. And then there's only 2 copies of these, so. That's a set and that's a set. I'm gonna pass those
You
down.
and I can have them, so. That's for y'all to share.
Okay.
so if you look at those pictures, there's currently, excuse me, a 1-story section of the house on the north side that's pre-existing. We're proposing to go on top of it with the new bedroom. And on our proposed drawings, you see that the type of architecture we're using is mimicking the existing house, and by doing that, we're sort of balancing the house and keeping it within the existing streetscape of the neighborhood. So, in reality, we're enhancing the look of the existing house.
Katie, what should we do with this copy? It's like, there's only one.
Somebody can keep them. Mike has the originals,
Yeah.
so we have originals.
So,
Mike, did you have any questions?
Mike is the original.
Yep.
Anything else? So you're mimicking the existing house.
we're
I
taking
see
the
you're
existing architectural elements on the south side, adding it to that one-story extension, which right
Expanding,
now looks
right, yeah.
way out of place.
expanding the house, and the expansion is taller than the original house, so it's, does it need to be that tall, which is going to
We're working-
require your pyramid
Yeah,
relief?
we're working with the existing structure, and most likely, we haven't gone that far yet, but most likely we have to bypass what's on top of the existing roof with some kind of structural frame and go on top of it. We're gonna be slightly higher than the existing house. We make the height, though. We do make the height.
No, I do realize that, but making the height is one thing, but the pyramid is another thing, and very often we ask if you can adjust your height
Right.
in order to reduce your pyramid relief request. So that's why I was asking, because I see that your second story is higher than the existing second story in the house.
Mind you, the existing house does not have 8-foot or 9-foot ceilings, though.
Everybody wants 8 and 9 foot ceilings
Right.
today.
The existing house has different odd-sized ceiling heights and all that, nothing, 6'4" to the top of the window, 6'8", things of that nature. Yes, it is possible, but I don't think at the end of the day, 960 cubic feet is not really substantial, though.
It's always our job to see if we can mitigate
Sure.
and reduce that, given, in every situation. Although, it's not 5,000 cubic feet.
Right, right.
I was just asking, okay.
And I know the board has granted the volumes of close to 2,500 cubic feet. I've been here physically and have seen.
I think Michael's, makes the point that we always ask,
Right, no,
if there's a way
absolutely.
to reduce
And we
it.
kept that in mind from the get-go, from the start of the project,
Yeah.
knowing that we're gonna cut into the pyramid. How do we just minimize it?
Yeah,
Okay,
okay. And you
one
said
thing
there
was
may be
you,
some roof issues with building on top of the existing roof or something?
we can reduce the height, but it would be structurally rather complicated.
Okay.
Using maybe different shallower structural
Yeah.
systems for the floor, for the new floor, because we're not going physically on top of the existing roof. We're adding
I don't have
another
a
layer
problem
to
with
it.
this Application,
I think the design is nice, the
And I
way you
don't-
tied it into the
and
existing window.
encroachment
I have no
is-
problem.
It's not that
It's-
bad.
I didn't hear you, sir.
So, I think the design looks nice, the way you tied it into the existing house. I have no problem with it.
Thank you.
I have a
Thank you.
question for you. On the site plan, you have a proposed addition, a small proposed addition.
In the front.
In the front.
In the front
Right.
as
Is that
well.
still,
It's part of this application, however, when the application went through the building department, the gentleman who inspected it said that we don't need any relief for that. So we're not even discussing that.
okay,
But it would be a part of the application to the building department, yes.
okay. So he said, no, you don't need relief for that.
No.
And then there's a demolition permit that was issued for the frame garage in the back. What's the status of that?
I don't think that is open. I think we had to obtain a permit for a shower, an outdoor shower that was not permitted.
I thought that I
demolition
saw in
permit
the
for the-
file somewhere that there was a demolition permit for the garage. Hold on.
Is that the structure that's being demolished in order to make?
That was not part of this application, sir. I'm not,
Okay.
I'm just asking.
While you're looking for that, what is the ceiling height of the first and second floor in the new addition?
first floor is only in that area, on that sunken deck, is 8'4", because it drops down two steps, 2 or 3 steps. The second floor is 9 feet. Proposed ceiling height, yes, sir.
So I have a question. On the survey, why does it say proposed two-story addition above existing?
Yes, because the existing, if you look at the documents that I just submitted, there's an existing den on the north side of the property.
Right.
Which has a flat roof on it.
Okay.
Flat roof
And we're
and a
just
fire.
going right on top of that.
1 story or 2?
Well, the one-story is existing, we're going on top of the existing one-story.
So it's a proposed second-story
sense.
addition.
Right,
Well, that's
not a
what I'm saying.
proposed two-story addition, but a proposed second-story addition.
The survey, the writing on the survey is,
Well, can we
Con-
fix it?
confusing.
Because it's confusing. Same thing for where it says existing 2.5-story residence. Like, we don't have a 2.5-story, we don't have 2.5 stories in the town. Is it 2 stories? Is it 3? We don't have 3 stories in the town.
no, existing 2.5 stories correct on the survey, though, because they count the attic as half a story.
Do we count as an attic as half a
Depends on
story?
when the CO was issued, it is possible.
Yeah.
Well, the CO doesn't say 2.5 story either. The CO says 1 2-story, 1 family frame dwelling. I mean, you're,
So-
Yeah, there's some inconsistencies in terms of the way it's described and by the surveyor, I guess, yeah. Or
We
maybe
can have that
the
corrected by the
application.
surveyor, if that's the case.
well, I just think it's important, right?
Right.
Because then you don't want the next property owner coming in and saying, you approved a 3-story dwelling, you know,
Well-
we're allowed to have 3 stories.
Well, it's actually 2.5 stories, I mean,
I
What is in this
understand.
half? What are we talking about? 2 stories and then what? An attic?
2 stories and an attic, yeah.
Is that usable space in the
That,
half
I
story?
don't know, I haven't been to the
You
it
attic.
a
don't want
crawl
to answer
space
that,
attic,
because
or
if
is-
it's usable, it's not legal, so, that's what I'm saying.
Right, right, no,
You're
I
not allowed
understand.
to have habitable space on a half-story, on a 3rd story.
That we know, absolutely.
Is it a crawl space attic?
I want to say an attic.
Well,
Well,
that doesn't
obviously
tell
you
me
can get
anything.
into it, though.
Excuse me?
Obviously, you can get into the attic by means of steps or a hatch or something
Well,
like.
which?
I think they had steps from what I remember, because I was in the house myself.
I would like to know more about that.
I just think
Would-
it should just be clarified. is
Sure,
my
sure,
point, you
we'll
know, like it
clarify
should-
that.
yeah,
But
like it
would that
should-
affect the application that we're here before you? Would that affect this application,
No,
though?
I mean, it already exists, right? So
Right,
what
we're not touching that,
No, and you're
yes.
not asking for pyramid for it, and you're
Right.
not asking for height for it. I'm just suggesting, you know, when the board renders this decision, this survey should certainly say
Two-story.
proposed second-story addition,
Mm-hmm.
because it's
Right.
only a second-story addition, and
And it's an
I
existing
believe-
2-story residence.
I believe that it should say, you know, existing 2-story residence, and if you feel that you're somehow entitled to a 2.5-story residence, you should.
I don't feel that, no.
But the applicant, you know, that you
Granted.
should just clarify that with the building department. You know, because like Candace said, once upon a time, 2.5 stories were permitted, so if this is
I'm-
indeed permitted to be 2.5 stories, you know, then the CO is not reflective of what he
understood.
does. So just get some clarity. into that.
Sure, not a problem.
So, you know, when we approve these variances, we like to have the accurate surveys attached to the approval, so that's why we're asking for all the corrections. But I still have this builder's permit from September 19th, 2022, work done, detached garage demolition. Is the garage still there?
The garage is still there.
Okay.
The
Where is it?
It's in the corner.
the frame
Under
garage
the
is still there.
trees? Yeah.
Okay.
It's on the east side of the property.
Okay, I just wanted clarification as to whether that, because it's right on the property line. I mean, it's like, there's no setback for that at all.
Do you know whether that frame garage, I mean, there's a 2-car detached frame garage in the certificate of occupancy from 1991. Is that garage?
I'm sorry, what was the question, sir?
Okay. I was asking if that existing frame garage on the survey
Right.
is the frame garage referenced in the certificate of occupancy from 1991.
There's no other structure that I know of, so I would assume yes, yeah.
Okay.
All right. Again, you know, we'd like to have everything accurate so that it doesn't
Totally
come back in
understood.
the future.
Mhm.
Okay, is there any more questions from the board? Are there any questions from the audience on this application? Please, you can come to the podium or you can come here. Are you an attorney?
Yes, I am.
Could you please state your name and your address?
David McMaster, 176 North Sea Road, Southampton, New York, Good evening, Madam Chairperson and members of the board. I'm here tonight representing Julie Cahill. She is the owner of 109 Lumber Lane, the property immediately adjacent to 99 Lumber Lane. I'm here to express our steadfast opposition to the proposed 3 variances. And as an initial matter, I would submit to you that the notice we received in the mail was inaccurate with regard to the scope of the pyramid variance that called for a encroachment of approximately 1,300 some odd feet. Now this is less than that, which is good, but it's still not the same. And the notice also spoke of a required front yard setback variance for the small first story addition from 40 feet to 16.9 feet, which now we're told is not part of the application. I don't see how that's possible.
Well, that's what the applicant identifies what they think the variances are, then it comes to the town, and the building department identifies it. So the
Understood.
applicant was overly cautious and was told that he doesn't need that because it exists.
All right. So that being said, I would submit that, as the board knows, you have to apply the 5-factor balancing test to these variances. And in my view, the outcome of that test clearly demonstrates that any purported benefit to the applicant is substantially outweighed by the significant detriment to the health, safety, and welfare of the neighborhood at large, and my client in particular. So it's respectfully submitted that approval of the side yard setback and pyramid variances requested for the construction of the second-story addition would result in an undesirable change in the character of the neighborhood and impose a significant detriment on the neighboring property owned by Ms. Cahill. Based on the submitted plans, it appears that the proposed second-story addition would block the southern-facing windows of my client's kitchen, living room, dining room, and bedrooms. The requested pyramid encroachment will result in an intrusive 2.5-story bulky mass looming over my client's more modest home. In other words, approval of these variances would cause my client to suffer a significant loss of privacy, natural light, and diminish the value of her property. The requested variances are also substantial. This property is already non-conforming with respect to the side yard setback of the existing single-story structure, and the board should not allow it to become more non-conforming at the expense of my client's quality of life and the integrity of her property. The requested variances will have an adverse impact or effect on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. 99 Lumber Lane was identified in the 2014 AKRH Survey of Historic Resources of Southampton as, quote, a Queen Anne-style cross-gable dwelling with hip-roofed entry porch, clad in wood shingles, constructed circa 1900. It is shown on the 1960 map as the property of Richard Hagerman and is potentially landmark eligible under town criteria A and C. Under Southampton Town Code, any application for a building permit on this property must be reviewed by the Southampton Landmarks and Historic Districts Board. I will add that this was flagged in GIS, basically saying the same thing. It's the first thing that comes up when you search the property, is a giant flag. So I would implore this board to follow the town code and refer the application to the Landmark and Historic Districts Board. The loss or degradation of a potential historic landmark would most certainly constitute an adverse impact on the physical or environmental conditions in the neighborhood. It appears that 99 Lumber Lane may also be eligible for the State and National Register of Historic Places. However, as a determination of eligibility has never been conducted for this property by the New York State Historic Preservation Office, if the property is determined to be eligible, this action might be considered Type 1 under SECRA. Moreover, because Southampton Town is a certified local government, the town's Landmark and Historic Districts Board might also request a determination of eligibility from the New York State Historic Preservation Office. Finally, the board should conclude that the alleged hardship to the applicant is self-created. In New York State, it is well settled that a purchaser is presumed to have knowledge of applicable zoning restrictions, and any adverse consequences of the rezoning restrictions are a self-created hardship. Since his acquisition of the property in 1998, the applicant has already been granted numerous approvals to improve the property with a pool and several existing additions to the existing structure. Simply put, enough is enough. And with respect to the front yard setback that no longer applies, I will say that the requested relief to allow a 16.9-foot setback from the front yard property line instead of a 40-foot setback is an objectively substantial variance for a self-created hardship. And accordingly, on behalf of my client, I would urge the board to deny this application in its entirety. Thank you.
What would make this a type 1 action?
If it were deemed to be eligible as a, for the state, for the National Registry of Historic Places, it would be a type 1 action under secret.
Can you submit what section under secret that says? Because I've never heard that.
Sure. It's, I can absolutely.
Yeah, I mean,
submit that to
you don't need to know it off the top of your head, but, I mean, it
Yeah,
seems
please
unduly
submit-
burdensome
please
to
submit
make
that.
something a
I
type
will,
1
as a
just
written
because it's on a
submission.
register.
Does this go to the landmarks?
I was asking Candace, I don't think so.
No, it has, do not issue permanent landmarks by this one.
Yeah, the normal one.
The normal one is on
Yeah.
most
Yeah.
of the properties. in this
But,
zone.
but it's not in the district, it's not in that.
It's not in the
It's
historic
something
district
below the
of
property.
Bridgehampton.
Correct.
So
Right, it's
therefore,
not
it
a-
doesn't go to the Bridgehampton landmark.
So previously, the application for the demolition of the garage that you guys were talking.
Every application
Report.
for demolition
Yeah.
goes to the landmarks board, but it's not what we've been seeing as the referral. Every
During
application,
the going through the process.
correct.
Yeah. So that was referred to the landmarks board
Yes,
for the
every
demolition, for the
application is
accession.
referred to the
But
landmarks.
this property is not in the new
The new
Bull's
historic
Head.
Yeah.
No, but given that its age, as over 100 years, it's potentially
Understood.
eligible for
Understood.
the state registry and the National Historic Registry, and
If the applicant so
it's identified.
asks for it.
Well, under the town code, yes, but I mean, you can, to be eligible under the National Registry, you can do that,
Sure, if the applicant wants to.
it doesn't have to be the applicant for the National Registry.
It would be a taking if the state landmarked
Hmm. Because
the house with
the,
no consent.
they're non-binding, the guidelines for the National Registry, so,
Non-binding.
exactly.
Anyways,
So the-
submit to me what
Well.
section you think this makes it a type 1 under secret.
Absolutely, thank you.
Anyone else from the peanut gallery?
Now, Michael.
That's not a
You
bad
have to
thing.
come up.
You have to come up, sir.
and
You
identify
have to be
yourself.
sworn in.
3 minutes.
That's not a bad thing, peanut gallery, is it?
So go very slow.
My name is Richard Viola. I live at 60 Noyak Road. I'm a retired nuclear engineer.
Are you an attorney?
No, I'm not. I'm a retired engineer.
Okay. Can you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, thank you for stating
You
your
have
name.
3 minutes, sir. if you like.
I just want to say, I applaud this lady's attorney for trying to stop what he's trying to do. I'm on their side.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You want to go to Zoom?
Yeah. Yes. Okay, and then introduce him. Come on. Okay,
They're not joining.
they're now joining.
All right, let's move on.
Okay, so.
Are they joining or not, Kevin?
No, they're not joining.
Okay, thank you.
Madam Chairperson, I have some other comments that I want to address.
Okay, please go ahead.
Number one, we're not here to landmark this house. We're here to get relief for the volume. Side yards are all existing, and we're not here to get any demolition permits. That's a building department issue. We're not demolishing anything. And the gentleman mentioned health issues. There's no health issues here. And if they had time to look at the existing house to see how imbalanced it is in terms of architecture and how we're improving it, okay? We studied the site to see where else we can add a bedroom. There's no other room for it. Okay, there's 3 bedrooms in the house. They need 1 more bedroom. The family has grown. Okay, if the gentleman and the neighbor were in the same position, I would vouch for it. But this is, some of the items that they came up with makes no sense. Health issue or safety for the neighborhood. We're not adding more traffic to the neighborhood. We're not adding a stop sign or light there. So there's no safety issues whatsoever. So all that we're asking for is the volume, that's all.
Can I ask you, what is the vegetation between the two properties?
Not 100% sure, because last time I was there was almost a year ago.
Yeah, I went to see it, and it's, I think there's like privet or some
Is it
sort of
shown on
a.
any of those pictures? Those pictures are from last summer, I believe.
Okay,
I mean,
so-
if that's part of, you know, your approval process, we would entertain that, absolutely.
Well, the testimony was that there's going to be a larger structure
Well, it's gonna
outside
be
of this person's
second story
house,
like
and it's
like
their
the south side, though.
They can object.
Right.
It's
No, I
their right to
understand.
object,
Yeah.
and that was noted.
Right.
So,
The problem is when they, years ago, when they added the den on the north side, they didn't add a second floor on top of it. Otherwise, we wouldn't be here.
so we need to get a couple things. We need to get some of the description of the house cleaned up and consistent with the COs. What else? Katie,
That was
wording
it.
on the survey.
Yeah, just the,
the wording on the survey.
just clarifying that it's not a two-story addition, that it's
Okay.
a second-story addition
Counselor, you're going to submit something in writing.
with the secret.
Does anybody feel the need to keep this open?
Well, I would like to hold it open only because I'd like to address that 2.5-story residence issue on the survey. Unless we think that we can resolve it by submissions, but I'd like to hear, what is this house? I've heard a lot of maybe, and I think.
Okay,
Yeah.
so you like, what is, after the second story, what is the peak and what's in that peak and,
You talking about the proposed?
no, what
existing.
exists? Is
Would
it-
would
What's-
having
what
floor
the
plan-
attic is.
Would
I'd like
having
to hear
floor
more.
plans help us?
What?
Would having floor plans help us?
Absolutely.
Determine that,
Well,
showing us a first floor, a second floor?
Again,
I don't think
again,
so.
no, it has, the house has a CO for a two-story, okay? So if, it's got a CO, so it doesn't matter what's in there, what's up there. What I wanna know is, why does it say why does it say a 2.5-story on the survey? I think the survey should be corrected to show two stories.
Corrected. As you mentioned, the house has a CO, and we're not here for the house, then I might be.
Like, if that's just an investigation, that it's
No, I understand, but what I'm
unnecessary.
saying is it better to hold it open to get that information, or we would be
I mean, you can-
satisfied
you
with
can-
submittals?
You can keep it open for other purposes, but this board doesn't need to get into,
Right.
Right.
What the CO says.
Right,
Yeah.
okay, so and as far as the volume of the addition, I mean, a counselor, you can speak with either the architect or owner or council. You did say that the second story is 9 feet. Very often, when we ask for less volume, we ask them to reconsider that, to make it less than 9 feet, to make it 8 feet. You can have that conversation. So therefore, if that's even going to be a discussion, I don't know if we should leave it open or close it. Do you have any feelings?
You got a microphone.
You have to come, or you can come before us, whatever you like.
If you're asking me to submit something in writing after the hearing's closed, how would that work?
You submit.
There will be a written submission date by
Candace.
which will be the day after the next public hearing.
Understood, thank you.
Which the board then considers before it does a decision.
We'll
Before it
receive it
makes
in
a
a
decision.
submittal package,
Right.
and
We get it in
that would-
advance.
And then a decision date would be the following week,
Thank you.
or the following.
Following.
Hearing.
Date.
So I want to ask the board again.
Is there anybody else
Chief.
who feels the same as Michael about looking at the second story addition, dropping it down from 9 feet to 8 feet?
Yeah, I would, absolutely with regard to that. I'd like to see, I'd like to know more about ceiling heights and whatnot.
I think he described the ceiling. Did you describe the ceiling heights? The first floor is what, 8 feet? And the
8
second-
feet 4, second story is 9.
The
second
the
floor is 9.
existing is almost approximately 8 feet 4 inches.
Okay.
Second floor, we're proposing 9 feet.
Okay,
And mind you, there's going to be a, like I mentioned before, a structural system that adds a little
Right.
thickness to
Right.
the roof, so.
so the question is, if you were to reduce it
Well,
to
but-
8?
Let's just be cut right through the chest. See, 9 foot could be reduced to 8 feet,
Right.
okay? That could easily be done.
Okay, then I think maybe,
And it would cut the volume by a lot.
and it would
So then let's
also
do-
for sure.
perhaps give some relief to the neighbor, some. So, do we want to leave this open and have you come back to
I
discuss
would like
that,
to
or?
get maybe an approval based on an 8-foot ceiling.
Well, we have to see the
We have
numbers,
to see
sir.
that, we have to see the floor plans.
That would impact the amount of relief
amount of-
that you're requesting for
The
permit
reduced,
relief,
the reduced amount of volume,
Right, right.
right.
you know?
Okay, I think we need to leave this
Okay,
open.
we need to leave it open, right?
Okay, yeah, let's
So
leave it
we'll leave
open.
this open, and ask you to come back. When would you be able to come back
The next meeting,
with your plan?
In
Okay,
about
so
a
what's the
week.
next meeting that this could be scheduled for comfortably? Do you have any opinion on that, Candace?
5/2 or 5/16?
5/2 or 5/16?
I'm sorry, sir.
You could squeeze them on 4/18. I have one, I'm not sure if they're coming. Do you wanna squeeze them on 4/18?
Could you get the plans in by 4/18?
Could you get the,
I have a
could you
hearing
get the
problem.
plans in
Before.
before?
We need a week before, right?
Yeah, how about May 2nd?
What happened to April 18th, though?
We need the plans a week before. Could you get them to us before then?
Absolutely.
You
Okay.
can get them in less than a week to us, in
Yes.
about a week to us. Okay, so let's
So
leave
get them
this
a week
open.
before April 18th.
Right,
That's
we need
correct.
to-
Mayron, can you give me the plans next week?
I'm sorry.
Can you give me the plans next week?
Yes.
Okay,
Today's what,
then let's
Thursday?
adjourn to.
And please get a copy to council, too.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay.
So we're gonna leave this open, and you will reappear on 4/18 with any changes
plans,
to your
yeah.
plans, and we'll have the response as well as your 2-story
Corrections on the survey.
corrections on the surveys.
right.
Okay?
Will do, sir.
All right, thank
Thank
you
you.
very much.
Is there a
Thank you.
second?
Second.
Mr. Daly,
Aye.
Mr. Leonard,
Aye.
Mr. Macedonian.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Thank you very much.
Chair votes aye. Okay, see you on the 18th.
Democracy.
Okay.
Item 8 on the agenda is 40 Ocean View Drive LLC in Shinnecock Hills, Suffolk Town Tax Map 900-271-1-44.
Candace, we're reading this, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, applicant requests relief from the following provisions of the town code, 330-77G, placement of accessory building structures and uses in residence districts for the proposed air conditioner units
40 Ocean.
40 Ocean.
and pool equipment to be located 6 feet from the westerly property line where 10 feet is required on a non-conforming lot and any other relief necessary.
Board has jurisdiction. Passes to Bob.
Robert.
Are you here for this as well? Okay.
Yep.
I need to swear
It's a
you in
busy
again
man.
because it's a separate
Sure,
application.
sure.
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Mayron Talley, 801 Motor Parkway, Hauppauge, New York, 11788. The original application, we requested relief for the side yard from 10 feet to 6 feet. We were putting the pool equipment on the west side of the property. As we submitted the application and the house is under construction, the contractor realized he cannot put the equipment there because of the difference in elevations between us and the neighbor. So they decided to move the equipment to the east side. So what you have before you shows everything on the west side, but we have a new site plan that shows the equipment on the west side. I'm sorry, on the east side.
Wait,
It
now
changed-
you've
this
really
changed-
confused me.
Yeah,
We have a survey, it shows the condensers are on the west side.
correct. Well, now what, we want to put them on the east side, because there's not enough room due to the topography and the retaining walls on the west side. They want to push them to the right side, and to the east side. And from what I understood from the contractor. is
Wait,
that-
hold on. Hold on. Your application is to put them on the west side,
Right,
right? So now
Correct.
you're telling us you want to put them on the east side?
Yes, it's almost the same, 10 feet, 10 feet.
No, but we need,
We can't,
we can't approve, we can't even address that.
your application is for something completely different from what you're asking for. And we have no survey
And we
showing
have
what
a
you want to
survey
do.
that's incorrect.
I have a new site plan if I
Yeah,
can
but
sub-
we don't.
We don't, and also your application isn't for what you're asking for right now.
Needs to be, okay, does that have to be re-advertised?
Well, do you have anything from anybody on the east side? I mean, did you
No.
talk to any, no, okay.
You didn't get the letter from the neighbor? I know-
We
I-
did, we
I
don't
mean,
have
I-
anything in writing from them,
You didn't-
Candace. We don't have
That's what-
anything.
Are you the
that's what I
neighbor?
want you to do.
Okay.
It was actually, we can provide that. I understand the board's position on that. Coincidentally, the neighbor to the east has his equipment on our side, so it kind of works out with him, you know, so that was my understanding from the contractor, as opposed to putting him on the west side. We'll come back with new
We
surveys.
gotta,
Yeah,
and it's gonna re-advertise, no?
doesn't it need to be re-advertised? Doesn't it need to be?
Hold on a second. What'd you say, Ken?
I said, before you make the decision, let this gentleman here, he's the one that's on the,
West
on the
side.
west side, correct? I'm on the west side. He's on the west side.
Is that
was
where,
another reason
So
why we
you're out of
switched.
the picture now because they're moving it to the east side.
moving it to the east side?
We'll be out of this picture.
Well,
You got-
All right.
hold on,
Well, you got-
that's where you went first.
You gotta come up, sir.
You'll have
Come
to
up.
come up.
Open this public hearing, take testimony on this public hearing, and then we'll figure out
Okay.
if it has to be re-advertised for
Advertised.
the other side. I think we were hoping that the applicant could talk to the neighbor on the east side, and they would say, oh, we have no problems, and then we just move on. But it doesn't sound like he's received
All right,
that,
I
so
need
let's hear
to,
from the
are you an
west.
attorney?
I'm not, no.
Okay, I need to swear you in. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I will.
Please state your name and address.
My name is Chris Sievernick, and I'm on 38 Ocean View Drive, which is on the west side of 40 Ocean View Drive. Yeah.
Okay.
How do you feel about it being on the west side? You hate it, right?
Yes, it would have
Okay.
been like 6 feet, 7 feet from our 2 bedrooms.
Okay. And what the applicant is saying is that they can't put it on the west side anyways, they're going to propose it on the east side.
Right.
So we will have to, unless the person is here from the east side, we are going to have to re-advertise this
Re-advertise it.
for the east side.
Yeah.
The neighbor will, maybe the neighbor won't have any problems, or maybe they will, but it won't be on the west side.
We discussed it and we have
Did
agreed.
you talk to Joe about it?
Yes, I talked to the owner and I talked to the
Okay.
Joe's the
contractor, and we walked the site because of the limitations that are on the site, because these are very narrow lots. And we agreed it would be best to put them on the other
And
side.
Mayor Ron, you're saying it's impossible to put it on the west side anyways, right? Because
It's
of,
with the topography and the
Okay.
gentleman knows that he lives there, yes.
okay.
It would be like in our
Okay.
bedrooms.
Okay. All right, so it looks to me like this needs to be re-advertised with the correct location, new surveys.
Oh, wait, there's more people.
may we also comment?
Sure.
Oh, absolutely, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to, all right.
Gotta just
And
swear
I
you
just
in, you
have to
come
ask
here,
the
there.
Zoom too.
My name is,
Yeah, are you an attorney?
I'm not.
Okay, do
I'm
you
a
swear to
student.
tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address.
My name is Julian Atlas Massoud, and I reside at 27 Cedar Drive, Shinnecock Hills.
Julie, can you just spell your last name, please?
Misut.
Thank you.
Of course.
Cedar.
Where is Cedar?
Cedar, so Ocean View is to the south, and then,
Cedar's one block
One
closer
block
to
north.
27. Okay.
yes.
All right.
Okay, go ahead.
Well, so this whole area that we're in, directly to the east of Atterbury, is all zoned the same. It's all R15 zoning, right? And that's a product of a real estate deal that happened in the 50s, when the zones, when the lots were much smaller. They were all an eighth of an acre. And at the current moment, the whole neighborhood is broken up into lots that are, except for actually right here, the whole neighborhood is broken up into lots that are substantially larger than that. And I think it would set a very bad precedent if this already lenient on either the east or the west side, if you gave this
Variance.
variance, it's just not in keeping with the current character of the larger zoning area, which itself is very small. It really only encompasses these 3 streets.
Understood.
Okay.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank you for your
Thank you
comment.
for your input.
Yes, sir.
Yes, go ahead. You
One
have
more-
another
One more
comment?
person.
Another one who's retired engineer.
Okay, so I need to swear you in.
Okay, so,
Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
And please state your name and address.
Name is Paul Massoud, 27 Cedar Drive.
Okay.
So I just wanted to thank the board for the work that you do, mitigating and trying to keep things under control. And I want to second what my son said and maybe elaborate on it a little bit. So on that street, there's another lot for sale, and the writing's on the wall that they're going to do the same. They're going to do the same basic approach there. They have cut down all the trees on the lot, as was done at 40, and the house that is modeled for that lot is on a board on the fence. You can see it's a similar house, and it's not really in keeping with the neighborhood. It would be a shame to see variances given to expand like these already very tight setbacks. And 10 feet or 6 feet might not sound like that much of a setback, but when you put it into the context of the size of these lots, like what is this lot, like 80 feet wide, maybe? It's a significant fraction of the total. And our neighbor, he's gonna still hear those condensers even though they're on the other side of the lot.
How could that be?
I know, but the reality is dancers
I
are
mean,
gonna be.
the house doesn't even, the proposed houses aren't even 10 feet on either side. They're 9.8, 9.7.
Yeah. Well, we just built a
The
house.
lots are undersized and constrained.
We just built a house in the neighborhood at 27 Cedar Drive. And, we sacrificed buildable lots to make something that was reasonable. Just something to think about.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks for your comment.
The only thing before us is the condensers, the 2 condensers. It's not the house, it's not the pool, it's just the condensers. I understand.
We would like to see that, the
It
precedent
cannot be
is
given
not
on
set.
record.
Yeah,
The board doesn't set precedents.
You gotta talk by a microphone, sir.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Noisy condensers. And, we would like to just thank you for your work in trying to mitigate problems like this and to consider denying the variance on either side of the lot because it sets a dangerous precedent for the neighborhood. And it's not in keeping with the character of the neighborhood.
thank you.
I wanted to ask the architect, is there another place to locate the condensers?
Right.
Is there another place to locate the condensers?
No. 2 reasons. First of all, gentlemen, it's danger. Every single house has a condenser and pool equipment, number 1. It's in keeping with the neighborhood. Every single house in that area. Number 2, an average contractor would not even go as far as thinking about these things while the house is under construction. So when they consulted me, where do we put the pool equipment? Well, we can put it here, we can put it there, but you're gonna be in the setback. So what do we do about it? So you go for a variance. An average contractor, and I've dealt with them for over 35 years, would have put the stuff in, buffered it, it would be never picked up by the building department. These are condensers, everybody has them. They're running in the summertime for air conditioning. Pool equipment.
Right, but
Units.
what a builder might do without a permit is not something
understand
that we're
that.
gonna consider
But
right now.
it
We're
is.
gonna talk about it again
Yeah.
on the east side.
But
so.
It's gotta be
Those are
re-advertised.
the old days.
It's a necessity. It's like,
Okay.
the house has no
All
air
right,
conditioning.
sit down.
I'm not buying it, I'm not living there. You know, I'm
And
sure
you should
their house
tell-
has air conditioning and pool equipment.
Tell your builders to start thinking about it a little bit more.
Right. No, will do, absolutely.
And, you know, when you come back,
Sure.
I'd like you to consider whether there's another location that's not right close to the property.
The other issue that we have, we're also bound by the conservation line.
I see.
So it gives us this much room to put that much equipment. So we're trying to squeeze it in as.
We got to
Yeah.
re-add, right?
Yeah, it has to be
Okay.
re-advertised.
You're coming back. Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard on this application? Okay. Robert, this is yours.
This is mine. So,
Hold on one second, Mayron, you want both your applications on the same day?
what are we going to re-add for?
Yeah. Board members, thank you.
Yeah, but what
You want-
date?
Mayron, you wanna do both apps on the same night?
Yes.
Again.
No,
418.
say
So
418.
5-2?
Is that enough time?
Wait a second. He did 418. Is that enough time to
Oh.
re-add?
Yes.
Okay.
My advertisement's gonna go until next week.
Okay, so we
Okay.
are going to re-advertise this application.
I can have the survey,
Let me finish.
I'm sorry, go ahead.
We're going to re-advertise this application and put it on our agenda for 4/18.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess? Chair votes aye. Okay, 418.
I can have them before, 1 week before the
You
18th.
got to get everything over to Candace on her
You
schedule.
got it.
Let them move forward, I'll talk to them over.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Have a great night.
Thank you for coming in, gentlemen.
Item 10. You ready, Bailey? William Siegel, 227 Mid-Ocean Drive in Bridgehampton, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-134-4-49.9. This is an extension request. Would you like me to read this?
Yes,
or what?
please.
Okay. On March 2nd, 2023, by decision number D 023037, this board granted a variance with various conditions to allow the proposed one-family dwelling to have a height of 46.75 feet, where a maximum of 42 feet is permitted. By letter dated February 20, 2024, John Bennett, attorney for the owner, is requesting a 3-year extension of said variance.
The board has jurisdiction.
Hi, do you want to just state your name and address, please?
Bailey Larkin with Bennett and Reed, offices at 212 Windmill Lane in Southampton. This is a request for an extension of the coastal erosion portions of the variance that was granted. Chapter 138 is unique in that it sets an expiration date on coastal erosion variances of only 1 year. So our client is actually in the process of getting health department approval, and then they'll have to go through the building department for the proposed home. We had asked for a period of a 3-year extension, just so that we don't have to return to you again, to ask for more time. I think we had mentioned in our letter that 161 Mid-Ocean was in a similar circumstance. They had been granted 2 extensions of their coastal erosion variance, so it's not an uncommon act for this board to grant relief. The first extension that they were granted was for a period of 5 years, and then a secondary extension was granted for 3 additional years. So here we're just asking for a 3-year extension at this point in time.
No, just
Really
for the height.
hasn't been any change in circumstances. It's really just to extend the coastal erosion portion of the variance that was granted.
I did have some questions on this. Sorry, but I've got the wrong, here it is. So when you say that there are no changes to the plan, so in other words, all of that will stay the same for the 3-year period, so we're not gonna
Correct.
see something different in terms of height or whatever?
It would be the same
Okay.
plan.
My only concern is that, you know, a condition of the variance was that you were going to do some plantings, you know, like plantings and take out the geotextile cubes. And, you know, that has me concerned because it's delayed now another 3 years.
Well,
Is-
the planting and the removal of the geotextile cubes was related to the demolition of the house itself, because the geocubes are actually located directly south of the house that's existing right now. So I think all of that restoration work was gonna be completed once the house was removed and the entire area was restored. So it will still take place.
Okay.
Once that has.
Right, because
Okay.
you're waiting for approvals in order to
Yeah,
do
no,
that
I
demolition.
understand, but it's just, again, I don't really have a problem with the 3 years, but I am concerned that, we continue not to have, the plantings that we should have and the removal of the tiles for that period of time, so,
Right, but if one is contingent on the other, then
yep,
so be it.
yep. Okay.
All right.
Whose is this? This is
Mine.
Keith's.
It is. I don't have any problem with this. Give them another 3 years.
So you would like to
And you
close
think
the
it's gonna
hearing?
take 3
Yeah.
years?
Do you want to ask, is there anybody else?
Is there anyone in the audience who wishes to be heard on this application? Is there anyone on Zoom who wishes to be heard on the application of 227 Mid-Ocean Drive? Okay, thanks, Kevin.
Okay, seeing and hearing no one, motion to close. Determination on 418,
Second?
418.
Hold on. Oh, yeah, that's me.
Mr.
Sorry.
Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, thank you.
Okay, Ms. Walton.
Okay,
Okay.
moving right along. Kaplunk, kaplunk.
Yeah, right.
Are we doing?
Kidding me?
Next one is
11 is, these are holdover applications, Pine Neck Realty LLC, 2 Oak Road, Noyak, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-5-5-67.
Hello. Hello. I can't remember, are you an attorney?
No, I am
No,
not.
I'm not, okay. So let me swear you both in.
Okay.
Who was sworn
We
in
were
already?
sworn
Oh,
in.
that's right, you've been on this here, all right, so, okay.
Yes, this is a continuation. so
Okay, right,
Right.
you're
It
right.
is.
We don't get
Suzanne.
sworn in again.
It's a
Okay.
holdover application, that it is.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, so what's new?
So since the last hearing in February, we submitted a revised plan based on the comments that we heard at that meeting. The plan has been revised in order to reduce the pyramid. Previously, we were requesting 3,551.18 cubic feet. We've reduced that to 1,916.69 cubic feet. We did that by doing 3 things. Number 1, we shifted the entire house 1 foot away from the eastern property line, which was where the pyramid was coming from, primarily from that eastern side of the property. Number 2, for the 2-story portion of the house, now this is, half the house is 2 stories, the other half is, well, not half, but portion is half is 1, the other portion is 2. For the 2-story portion of the
Is
house.
that the garage?
Yes, what we call it the barn.
The barn.
It's the garage with the rec room above it. That's the 2-story portion. And the roof line for that entire section came down 1 foot. So the 2-story portion of the house is now at a maximum height of, the roof ridge is at 30 feet. It was at 31, so we brought that down to 30 feet. And the third thing that we did for the 1-story portion of the house is the roof line has been hipped. So they hipped the roof on
Okay.
the 1-story portion of the house. Yeah, so
Yeah.
you should have copies of this plan.
See that?
The reduction plan, in the corner here of the site plan, it summarizes those 3 changes I just mentioned.
Okay.
So that,
Do you have this?
yeah, this is a plan dated March 6th,
All right, let me see what I have.
which we submitted last Thursday.
Probably have it.
Yeah, we get things, they come in waves, and sometimes it's hard to,
I- All right, I'm having trouble
Do
finding
you have
it.
any extra copies that you can give to
Yeah,
anyone
we
who
don't
doesn't
have
have it?
that.
I don't have it.
What did you drop for? I wasn't here last Friday, so.
Yeah, maybe you have it, but I don't.
There should be a cover
Well, I
letter
am special. You.
dated March 14th,
Don't have it.
summarizing this
No.
submitted.
So if it came Thursday and Candace was out Friday, it didn't get into the package that
Yeah,
came
we
to
didn't
us
get it.
last week, so it's,
But I'm going to go in my office, check to see what that is.
All right, we do not have it.
Okay, well, somewhere there's 7 copies that look like this.
do you have any copies to show us?
I have this one additional copy that we can
This is,
pass up to you.
just so you see the structure, let them see a picture.
So, so this section here, this is where the total height came down. It's like the 2-story portion.
And the hip was?
Over here, that, you don't, yeah, it's here.
The dotted line is what would be the pyramid
Yeah,
boundary.
there was,
That was going over here.
yes, this did come up like that, so
I
that,
recall.
You lowered the roof a foot.
And
we
then-
pulled the whole building.
and so it gets shifted 1 foot closer to Oak Road. So we now need a bigger variance from Oak Road, but that goes from, that was 27.5 feet, now that would be 26.5 feet. But we got the impression, based on comments from the board, that you would rather see that than being closer to the eastern property line.
So do we have a revised survey too, or not yet?
Not yet.
Okay.
Okay,
The
but-
site plan has all the numbers and everything. Obviously, we would put this on the survey if the board
Got it.
goes along with this reduction, which I think is a substantial.
In terms of pyramid, but there's no reduction in terms of coverage, lot coverage.
That's correct. We haven't
Okay,
reduced. the
that still
footprint.
is an issue.
Right, that's still at 29.
Do you want to comment?
I think pyramid is still an issue.
I'm sorry?
I
How
think
much?
pyramid is still an issue. I think both are.
1960?
Well, yeah, I think 1960, but what's the purpose? The purpose is for a rec room in a neighborhood that is, by far and large, very small little homes on very small little lots. I am of the opinion that this building is too big for the purpose, for the size of the lot.
The rationale for this building, if I might, is that I have a house at 73 Pine Neck, and Mr. Shea, who is the environmental consultant, took control of the property from the water to the road, and we have no garage, we have no room for beach chairs or anything. I have 4 children. I'm one of 7, Susan's one of 6. I have my first grandchild coming in July. On rainy days, we're all over each other. I need them to, that's why we need that rec room in the garage.
I understand that, but I don't see that as a justification.
I bought this property for that purpose.
Right, but you're putting in a very large rec room. That's,
It's over a barn, it's over the footprint of the barn. Whether I put a second floor on that
Right.
is inside
Right.
that envelope.
right.
As I recall, it was for a 3-car garage. You had
It was
intentions.
3 bays, because I have.
3 bays. You have a very large boat you want to store in there and some
Put a
cars.
boat in there. Well, my very large boat I'm gonna put in there is a 21-foot Boston Whaler. That's not very large.
Okay.
But, and if we go any closer to Oak Road, the driveway then hits a storm
Right,
drain.
right.
And we'd have to then come in from Oak Road, which is a very narrow road, which would be very difficult to back a Boston Whaler.
Yeah, shifting the proposed house.
Keep
in-
it at a marina. That's what they got marinas for out here.
Not in the winter. I,
You shrink wrap it, put it on somewhere.
Yeah,
That's all.
exactly. I mean, there's a difference between saying I need an extra bedroom because the family is getting larger than we don't know what to do during the rainy days, so we're gonna put a shuffleboard court and we're gonna put
I'm not putting a
billiards.
shuffleboard
You had,
court.
well, that's what's in your initial plans,
Well,
sir.
shuffleboard court would imply outside. It's a shuffleboard upstairs and a pool table.
And I
correct?
think that makes no difference to me.
Okay,
That's
okay.
what I'm saying to you.
All right, that's fine.
So I think that what you're trying to do is, these are luxury items. a place to store my boat, a rec room, on a very small lot in Pine Neck that's completely out of character with the neighborhood. And you're asking not only.
How is that out of character for the neighborhood? I don't understand that. The house right next to it is a prefab house that is a very big variance of pyramid law. The house across the street has a gigantic prefab house.
Does it have the same, like, lot coverage though? Because the lot coverage also.
The lot coverage immediately contiguous to me is 44%.
Okay.
It's a two-family house.
Yeah, we did provide, the one across the street that's a prefab, that's under construction right now, or a modular
A
home.
modular.
Yeah, sorry. A modular home under construction, that did not need variances. It's actually a pre-existing double, two houses on the
It's a
same.
double lot,
Yeah, you did issue variances, but not for coverage. But I think the point that Mr. O'Connell is trying to make is that he's tried to design something that's very aesthetically pleasing. It's not a monolithic giant cube such as the modular that's being constructed across the street. And there are larger two-story homes. I think the fact that this is of varying roof lines and architecturally pleasing and designed in a way that is rural and traditional with cedar shingles and
And has quite a bit of opposition from the community.
I went to the site and I drove around the neighborhood to see, and it really is not in keeping with the neighborhood. I think that, you're gonna find a couple of two-story homes there, but they're by and large small cottages. And it would definitely be out of character for that neighborhood.
What lot coverage would the board be more
20%.
comfortable with?
20% is at 20%, you have your right to build. The only thing you would come back to us for would be the setback. And if you can get it back to 20%, I think that would meet with approval. I don't know, I'm speaking for myself, but.
And what was the total pyramid change to?
1,960.
Yes, we went from 3551.
Down to 1960.
To 1916.
1960.
We just
Yes.
don't have that before us, we haven't had a chance
Right.
to even look at it, so it's unfortunate.
I mean, how do I submit these items so that you get them? I'm submitting them more like a week ahead of time,
Well,
multiple copies.
Candace is the best at
I
all
know,
of
I
this,
know. That's
so
why I'm
it
a little
was-
frustrated.
This
This
was,
one wasn't here.
Yeah.
She was out. I
she
mean,
had a date.
That happens, so.
I'm not blaming Candace.
That's fine.
Candace knows I love
The
her.
thing is, I went through the mail, so now I gotta find out if someone else took it in, because it's not
Right.
in my office.
Yeah.
After
Okay.
he's the mail
Okay,
up
I'm
in my
sorry
office.
about that. These glitches do happen occasionally.
I know.
And you are usually very timely,
Very
so.
good at this, yeah.
Yeah, you're very organized and very good, so.
I try, I just feel bad because I know neighbors have come out and the O'Connells drove out to be here, so.
We should hear everybody, what
Right.
everybody has to say. I wanted to ask you, and I don't know, was your question answered, John? So what has changed then with this? So the 30 to 27.4, that's at 26.4
That's
now?
at 26 and a half.
26.6,
Yeah,
okay.
So 1 foot less.
Is the required 22.6 from Breyer, is that still?
That is
in-
the same.
Same. Your rear yard setback,
Has increased
10.2 to
to
what?
11,
11.2.
11.2.
11.2, okay, so that's where you got the other
Yes.
foot.
We just
Lot
shifted.
coverage from 29.6 to the same?
Same.
Okay. Pyramid,
roof
north,
ridge was
south,
lowered a
east,
foot.
west, for a total of 3551 to 19, what?
16.
16.
Point
Okay.
69. I don't know if you care about the.
1916 is fine.
The pyramid relief now is related to what portion of
This is
the
the year we
property?
were born, 1916.
That includes mostly the section.
The barn?
No. It's all along the eastern property line. So there's a sliver that's from the one-story portion. And then this is from the two-story, this is the rec room here. Also, the cupola adds a little bit. that's only 27
No.
cubic feet.
There's- I can show you more clearly on this. So, yeah,
I would not be inclined to provide relief for a rec room.
For what?
A rec room.
I mean, it is only a two-bedroom house with 1.5 baths.
Mhm.
That's the
I'm
bedroom.
okay with the changes.
Okay. We need 4 votes.
Yeah, I know. I'm not good with the coverage. I mean, if the
Okay.
coverage was reduced, the 3-car garage was reduced, the rec room would be
the
reduced.
last meeting we were at, you said you were okay with the lot coverage and you were worried about the variance.
I did say I was worried about the
The
pyramid.
pyramid,
Yeah.
and you said you.
But,
you were less
I went to
concerned
look
with
at the
lot.
property,
Okay.
and, I have the right to change my
Of
mind
course,
as
we
well.
all do, yes, correct.
So,
Well said.
yeah, I mean, and particularly in light of the fact that we've gotten so much comment from the neighbors, I mean,
Mhm.
dozens of letters.
Well, even
What do you
regardless
say?
of the commentary by the neighbors, if this proposed building is not within the character of the neighborhood, and I think that we as a board would be remiss if we were to approve something like this, even over the objection of the neighbors, or especially over the objection of the neighbors, I don't think we would be doing the public service. That's my opinion.
I agree with John.
I think you're having trouble getting to the 4 votes at this point.
I think so.
Not my vote.
I think you need to seriously reconsider.
Helen said we do not have her vote?
Do not.
Yeah,
Okay.
That's correct.
No.
The letters in opposition were still parked by one individual who has a personal axe to grind with me.
That
Well,
may be-
let's.
That may be
let's-
said
let's
about
not-
every single application we have
Yeah,
before
I
us.
mean,
Well, they've done a good job.
they've
Yeah,
done
they
a
have.
good job,
They have.
and they have all,
Let's hear what they have to say, and we
Yeah,
will
well,
listen.
what they have to say, and we'll
and
listen,
then
and
we'll
I'll
go
take
from
it,
there.
and I'll try to
but I
ameliorate
think,
it.
again, Mr. Tuttle said something about storage of a boat. I mean, there are other options for storing boats.
I don't have a garage at all.
I
and-
understand, but
and
he wasn't
I need-
suggesting a garage. Anyhow, I just.
Many, many, many
Again, you're on a
properties-
small piece of property. You can't load it up with a lot of stuff.
I'm not, I mean, it's one building that we're asking for a variance for 29% lot coverage.
Yeah, and,
And I'll
and I-
try to get it down to as close to 20% as we can.
Yeah, we're
So
gonna
that-
have to take a
So that
look.
if there is a lot coverage variance required,
There's almost
it's gonna be minimal.
1,000 square foot additional lot coverage with the 29%, obviously.
Well, I'm taking down.
No,
there-
this isn't the pyramid, this is the lot coverage.
I understand that. The lot coverage of what's there now is a house and 3 accessory structures.
Mhm.
They're all going down.
Mhm.
The house now is on a crawl space that has open access to the wildlife. It's a property that floods.
Mhm.
Every rain, there's water on that property and standing water. So that property's gonna have to be built up,
Mhm.
which
You
is
don't
why
want
the
to,
elevation
you don't want to
is what it
discuss that
is.
because of the runoff, and you're going to have to, the
Well, what
water
I'm-
has to stay on your
What I'm
property.
suggesting is that's why we're putting a slab. That's why we have to
Well,
build
but
this on a slab.
regardless, the water has to stay on your property.
Correct.
If you have to put
And
in
we'll do
dry
that.
wells or whatever it
Yeah,
is.
going to.
obviously,
French
we're
drains.
putting in a new septic system
Yes,
and
but
new
I'm just
drainage
saying,
structures.
Yeah, all right.
Yeah.
There are considerations for that too.
Okay.
Okay, is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this
Well,
application?
Is your
I
question?
imagine that,
One at
we
a time.
haven't seen your change in
Yeah.
plans, so I imagine that anybody who's coming to talk about it hasn't
Hasn't.
seen them either, and they're
Correct.
coming to talk about from your initial plans, so.
Right.
Correct.
Right.
All right,
So
We'll have
we'll
to
take
keep
that
that in
into,
mind.
yeah, we'll keep that in mind, and we'll listen to their concerns.
okay.
Okay, thank you.
Those plans that were dropped off, they have to be here somewhere, correct?
I
All right.
don't know who, I wasn't here, I don't know who dropped them
But
off.
they
and
have to
dropped them off.
be.
I need to swear you in again. This
Okay,
is a new
no problem.
application.
All right. You want to stay there, you can stay.
I know what she's done.
All right.
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
Yes, I do.
And please state your name and address.
Richard Vile, 60 Noyak Avenue, Sag Harbor. I'm adjacent to Mr. Connell's property.
Okay, we do have time limitations.
We have a
so
3-minute time
Okay,
limitation.
well, that's why I'm gonna give you, this is a poster with the adjoining houses, the sizes, the lot size there. I
So
do
you gotta
have-
read by a microphone, because it's not gonna get picked up.
Yeah.
I also have a petition from the neighborhood that I'd like to present to the neighbor with 104 signatures opposing this Noah's building.
You give it to us, not to
Yeah,
them.
you're gonna give
not
it to-
them.
Yeah. This is the petition with the signatures on it. I have just the petition itself, you can pass it down, just so you can all read it.
It has
if
to
you
come
wish.
through the attorney. yeah.
Okay. Again, I have the adjoining houses, lot sizes, and the lot coverage of each house, which is, the average is about 1,300 square feet, not 4,809. I also have my talking points, which I know I only got 3 minutes, so I made copies of my talking points. I'll try to hit the highlights, so you will be able to read my talking points.
And you do
So that's just-
recognize that what Mr. Daly said is that there have been changes to the original application. Just
I
let you know.
understand that.
And there may be some more changes to the.
I gather that's not gonna bother him.
It's not, unless the maximum lot coverage is adhered to, the pyramid law is adhered to, and the setbacks are adhered to, I am objecting.
This goes to,
Okay.
Sorry,
So-
I'll never have sunlight on my property. again.
Sir, hold on.
Go ahead.
Give us the papers you have,
Yep.
and then go stand by the
And then go to the
podium, and you
microphone.
could give your presentation, please.
and you're lucky I'm not timing you now.
I
And
will
these
start
are,
over.
this is a letter from the Noyak Civil Council, also objecting, which provided pictures of the adjoining houses, and I have.
Is that from the Noyak Citizens Advisory Committee?
Yes.
We already have
You
that.
We have that letter, yeah.
So you don't need that one. So you don't need this one. Okay.
That's the original down to Susan.
Original
Did I put this up someplace where you can see it? I don't know.
You can lean it
I
against the
haven't
wall
done
there,
it.
but all the reflections and everything make it
Well, I
a
put
little
it in boxes. It
challenging.
was supposed to rain tonight, so I didn't want to get.
Okay. Well, it's
I
hard
for
to
the
see.
worst.
Okay, sir.
Original to Susan.
Okay.
3 minutes, please.
Okay.
Help us with that.
Starting
I'm
now.
from Jersey, so I talk fast.
Oh, good.
That's your original.
I'm from New York, so
I'm
do
sorry
I.
that I couldn't meet the February 15th meeting, but I'm here today. And I'm here to speak for many of my wonderful neighbors in Pine Neck. I'm submitting the zoning board a petition with 104 signatures from the neighborhood, and that's from Cromers to Noyak, to just Pine Neck area alone. We're objecting to the maximum lot coverage. I think the last two people already spoke of that. We got the exact same issue here. This lot is small, and so therefore it makes a big building just stand out. And this building does not conform to the neighborhood. No way, no shape, no how. If this building goes up with the barn, which, do we have any barns in Noyak, in Pine Neck? The answer is no. So why are we starting now? We don't need a barn or a huge playroom. I'm a simple man. I walk my dog stool every day. I'll never have sunlight in my backyard with a 31-foot building behind me in the afternoon again. The runoff problem, adding 2.5 feet, which was mentioned last meeting, people will have a problem with runoff. And my parents have been there for 40 years. We've never seen standing water on that property. Also, item 17 of the variance, will the variance sought be substantial? If not, why not? The answer was no. While the variance might appear to be substantial, is not out of line with the other properties in the neighborhood, and the overall size of the house exceeds 4,809 square feet. Who are you believing? 1,300 square feet for these houses? Mine's only 1,000 foot, that's my house, 1,800. This is 4,809. Sorry. So based on what I'm trying to say is, the building must not exceed the maximum lot coverage 20%. The pyramid laws must be adhered to. The setback requirements must be adhered to. Adding 2.5 feet of dirt to the elevation must not be allowed.
You're at 2 minutes.
Okay, the massive building does not conform to the surrounding homes. Just look at the pictures from the CAC and my pictures here. Again, there are no barns at Pine Neck. Respectively, your decision, I'm gonna have to live with. So I hope you read my letters, and that's what I'm concerned with. And every neighbor in the neighborhood wants to keep this a small home neighborhood. It's a summer neighborhood.
2.5.
Yep, I am, basically, I think I got all my points in. We're objecting to everything.
Thank you.
And the neighborhood.
Can that come off of that poster board so we can fold it up? Like, we can't take that big thing?
I can take all the pictures off for you. I'll take every picture off for you if you want.
All right, well,
You
maybe
could-
just
You could just leave
resubmit
it there if you like.
Well, I'm saying we can't take that and put it in Candace's cubicle. So not, you don't have to do it right now, but maybe just make a smaller version or something that we can fold
Well, I
up.
gave you a copy of this, a small
Okay.
version.
Yes,
And
you
got
did
the
already.
house is probably from the civil.
Okay, I'm just
Yeah, I
saying if
think the
there's something-
photos are in the Civic Association.
Yeah.
Okay.
Did you have a copy of the petition?
Yes, I do. I have a
Okay.
copy of the civil picture and the signatures.
You have a copy of the petition, Susan has all the signatures on it.
Oh, okay.
There's 14 pages because I just had them something on the
How many
bottom.
people was it?
104.
And they all live in the surrounding community?
Yes. Within, from Cromer's to Pine Neck Ave,
Right.
to Noyak Road to the Bay. Nowhere else.
It's a cute little neighborhood.
No one knew that this was happening, and they thanked me to bring it to their attention.
Okay.
They were shocked.
Okay, I just, again, I think you make some points. I think that people have the right to develop their property.
I'm not disagreeing with that.
And when they come to us, we look for granting variances, which is the smallest amount possible that is reasonable concern. So we have now, we've got a reduction
This-
in the, I'm just saying,
This is not a hardship type of variance, though.
Let her finish.
I'm sorry. I apologize.
I think, you got the message about the lot coverage. I think you've done some work on the pyramid relief. It's not, you have a right to come forward with what you want, and we have to look at it in terms of whether it's reasonable, and, it may not totally suit you, but people have building rights with their property. So I'm just saying that, and I look forward to you coming back again with some ideas, some creative ideas about how to accomplish this and still make a reasonable, meet your reasonable objectives.
I guess my
31
question.
feet, 31 feet is allowable.
Right, 32 is allowable.
32.
All I'm saying is maximum lot coverage. If we go over that, what does the word maximum mean? Do we just get rid of that?
But we do make exceptions.
It's funny.
But I think, we look at the total circumstances, we look at the size of the lot, we look at, what the use is for.
Any restrictions a lot may have.
And, they may have restrictions like 2 front yards, which they do. So we look at that.
I'm just letting you know that every one of the surrounding neighbors objected to this building.
I
They
understand.
originally did not because they didn't understand the size of the building. They have now sent you a letter.
But
Yeah.
sir, what I'm gathering is,
We
even if it
understand.
met all the requirements, they're still going to object to a building.
Yeah, I think
No,
so.
That's what I'm
I don't believe that. I don't believe I've heard that in what he said.
20%.
Not in the least.
No.
He's
All right, well,
made
let's
a
see what
very,
they come
hold on,
back
can I
with.
speak? He has made a very cogent argument on behalf of the entire community with over 100 signatures, in addition to all of the letters that we received in our submittals. And this is not about restricting someone's right to build. It is about our jurisdiction to restrict what we allow over what's admissible.
I gather that, but if he
And
wanted
I-
to put a barn on the lot, he could.
No,
Absolutely.
he can put a barn all he wants.
So-
But I think that the gentleman here is making a very good argument that we have to take into consideration as a board, not just that we grant variances. Look, the public has accused us over and over of being a rubber stamp. And right now is the time to prove that wrong.
Enough is enough. I'm sorry. Enough is enough. This is a cancer, and we gotta stop it. I'm
All right.
sorry.
Let's not get dramatic.
No?
As
Everybody-
I said,
Let's
people
move
have
on.
property rights, and we have to balance
And I'm
everything.
looking
And I
forward-
understand that, but I'm just saying, you've gotten some feedback. You understand where you're coming from. You also are looking at whether you've got the votes. And I think then you're gonna have to come back.
And
Yeah.
We have
Yes.
anybody
Three
else?
minutes up?
Yes, his 3 minutes is up.
Do you want to react to his, and then we have
If
somebody
I
else in
may,
the audience?
and it'll be brief.
Okay,
I've been coming to Pine Neck my entire life. My family was renting homes. I was fortunate enough to be able to buy one 12 years ago. In those 12 years I was there, not once has anyone ever knocked on my door and said, "Hi, I'm John Jones. I bought such and such a property. Here are the plans I'm thinking of building. I want you to see them and comment, and if you feel it's appropriate, please sign a letter that says you support this. If you don't, that's fine." No one's ever done that. I did that. I did that. And for that, I'm being vilified. I don't think that was a bad thing to do. I thought that was a good neighborly thing to do. And
I'm
that's what I
hoping
did.
that you're not being vilified, because we're here to try to
Well,
come up with a
104
solution.
people. I don't think you can get 104 people in one neighborhood to agree on anything.
Really?
I do not
You can't speak, you can't
All right,
speak.
okay.
I'm sorry.
Okay,
I'm not
Guys,
all right,
wait a
you're
sec.
done.
We're done. Is there anybody else
Yes,
who'd like
there
to
is.
speak?
This woman over here wants to speak. Are you an attorney?
She wanted the 104.
I'm not,
Okay, do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
yes.
Please state your name and address.
Susan Barbieri, I'm at 35 Chestnut Street in Pine Neck,
Susan, please spell your last name.
Barbieri. And I came to the meeting tonight to support my neighbor. I don't directly live in that area, but close enough. It's a lovely little neighborhood. I'm all for progress and home improvement, but I do really wish that you seriously consider the impact that these very large proposals are having. I came here a couple of years ago for a variance for my 288 square foot extension, and you were very kind to give it to me. But I also had my neighbor's support, and I kept within a reasonable
I remember.
framework. Yeah. That's
Okay,
it.
thank you very much for your comments.
Thank you.
Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard?
Yeah, I have one person.
Okay. Okay, thank you, Kevin.
You asked if anyone on Zoom wanted to be heard.
Yes.
Okay, is it appropriate for me to speak now?
Well, we don't see you. We hear you, but we don't see you.
Well, I'll quick start my video. I'm sorry.
That's okay.
All right.
Are you, wait, are you an attorney?
No, I am not.
All right, let me swear you in. Do you swear to tell the
Okay.
truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
No, we see you now.
Okay, I'm not sure what to do about that.
No, we see you.
All right, we
You're
see you
okay.
now, but
Don't
do you-
lie.
Delay.
You're on a delay.
All right,
I am not an attorney.
do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Okay, please state your name and address.
Harold Newton, 18 Briar Lane, across the street. Yeah,
Oh, boy.
Goodness.
I'm sure I'm causing an echo. I apologize.
Yeah, you are, but just speak
wife
clearly
is-
and we'll try to get through it.
Okay.
Don't listen to the repeat of what was already said. Just let that go.
He's gonna hear that in 10 minutes.
Okay.
Go ahead, sir. Oh,
Okay.
mackerel. It's like Saturday Night Live.
I can't do that. Yes, I understand. Okay, so just the only comment that I would really like to make, I have seen his home on,
Pine Neck.
Noyak Avenue. It's a beautiful home. But what he's trying to build across the street, my largest concern is the notion of bringing in over 2 feet of fill in order to raise that property. I really, really don't think that's appropriate. We've owned our home since September 15th of 1942, and in all of those years, we have never had water putting in that. Area frequency is
I
that
never,
also
you're not
about
bringing in Phil.
the
You're not
massive
bringing in
size
any
of
Phil.
the garage and the room above it, and the fact that those don't really connect to the house, as it's called, suggests to me that there perhaps is more at play than we're being shared with. So that's really about all I had to say. I'm just very concerned. I don't want that property grade lifted.
Okay, Suzanne, do you want to respond?
I would love to respond. I don't know where this 2.5 feet of fill number is coming from. We're not bringing in fill. We're not raising the grade of the property. It's on a slab. The slab is proposed just a 1.5 to 2
That's
feet
the 2
at
feet,
most
the slab.
above the natural grade. The natural grade is remaining as is. We're proposing an IA sanitary system. That's one of the shallow trench type ones,
Sure,
very,
it would need to be,
the
yeah.
mats, which are designed for very shallow groundwater areas. We only have 5 feet to groundwater, but we're able to design, the engineer was able to design
Boring
it.
was 5 feet, they
Yeah.
hit water.
So we were able to
That's
design it
fine.
without the need to bring in fill. So someone is
Maybe-
throwing out some
They may be
misinformation.
confusing that you're
The
raising
size
the
of
slab.
Yeah, the house
Yeah.
is being lifted off the
The
ground by
house
the
is
slab.
being
But-
lifted by a foot, 2
Of
feet,
s- of
but no fill is
concrete.
coming in.
So if you look at the survey, the surrounding grade is shown, you know, it's from 7.5 to 6.5, 6.7. The proposed first floor is 8.4, the garage is at 7.3. I mean, that's just slab. And you wouldn't put your house even with the natural grade or it would flood. So
Yeah.
And
there's no big mound
The
of fill.
address given by the woman, if my recollection's correct, I studied the history of the variances in the village. I believe her property was granted a 25.9% lot coverage variance.
Okay.
Right.
The one who just spoke.
We-
Am I correct in that?
Well,
I
you know,
heard-
different time, different board, so I'm
Correct.
just,
But
I'm not going back there.
That's fine.
Is it 38 Chestnut got 27.43, 35
Right, she's
Chestnut
shaking her head.
got
We're not gonna get
25.8.
into that.
We can look at those.
I
Yeah.
submitted a letter at the February meeting,
Yes,
which
you
has
did.
about
Yes.
20 different variances in this neighborhood, which are of this similar order of magnitude. Not maybe exactly what we're asking for here, but if you look at them, you will see that there have been many pyramid variances issued in this neighborhood, many coverage variances, and I understand every property is different. You're evaluating them on their own merits.
We are.
But there is precedent in this neighborhood for a lot of variances. There's a lot of small properties. I understand that we don't have your votes, we don't have the support of the
Right.
community, and we need to revise. But
Right.
your job, I understand, is to balance
Correct.
the concerns of the homeowner and his needs for the property and the hardships of being on the corner and a 10,000 square foot lot. Balance that versus what you believe is reasonable.
Needs to pass the five-part
And-
test. You
Right.
know what I mean?
And enough
Cut and
of us
dry.
need to boot. And understand that local opposition, you know, plays a role, but we're not elected officials, so
Right.
it doesn't bother us. We're not
Right.
worried about whether, you know, we have to make the decision on ourselves. So,
They wanna-
we're not afraid of local
They
opposition.
live in the neighborhood.
Not gonna make
Yeah.
friends.
That- We don't, we
I've
know
lived
we're not
in
gonna make
Manhattan for
everyone
12
happy,
years,
but
And people come
Understood.
to my house for the sunsets.
And
We
they're-
have a nice relationship with them all.
they're good neighbors.
Okay,
and-
I don't
Have
doubt that for a
104
second.
less.
So, look, you're gonna have to come back. I'm sorry
We
that
will.
we did not receive
Yeah, the
your
volume is
latest.
just too great right now.
Yeah,
Still,
and-
Still, even though you've made some improvement or some
Yes,
reductions.
and the lot coverage is still an issue,
Okay, thank you.
you know, so you know where we're coming from on that.
Lot
And-
coverage and
And, you know, if you meet the 20%, there's nothing we can do about it, because you're not asking for a variance.
I don't think it's
All right, okay.
There's probably some space in there where we can get
All
our
right, well,
4
let's
votes
see,
and-
now, when do you want to, when should we have them back, May?
5/2 or 5/16.
5/2 or 5/16?
How much time do you need to make adjustments?
I'll let my guys do
The
it.
sooner the
in a week.
better.
So
5/2?
5/2?
5-2?
Sure, that'd be fine.
All right, so I make a motion to adjourn this until 5/2.
Second.
Mr. Daly?
Thank you for your time.
Mr. Daly?
Aye.
Mr. Tuttle?
Aye.
Ms. Burgess?
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia?
Aye.
Mr. Leonard?
Aye.
Okay, thank you
Thank you for
very
your
much.
attention and your
Thank
time.
you.
All
Thank
right.
you, and for your feedback.
Thank you.
Okay, item 12 on the agenda is 2331 Montauk LLC, 2331 Montauk Highway in Bridgehampton. This is a holdover from our February 15th meeting.
Okay.
Good evening, for the applicant David Gilmore Jr., Greenberg Troy, 2317 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton, New York, and the property immediately next door to...
3 minutes now.
Okay.
Hold on one sec, can you pass that to, the original goes to John.
You kept it open because you wanted us to go to the landmarks board,
the
which we
landmark.
did.
Okay.
So, the landmarks board, they sent you a letter, they object on two bases. One is the illumination of the sign, the second one was the size. I've given you a series of pictures in the updated, which shows, so we had the hearing, it's Tuesday night, they objected to that.
Saw the letter, yeah.
Right, and so I went back to Bridgehampton and I took pictures of all the lights that are along that strip. And then the last picture is a picture of the Greenberg-Trorig sign, which I think if you take a look, it's so much more subtle than the uplighting or the downlighting that occurs on the other
Yeah.
properties,
Yeah.
I mean, if you take a look at the
Behind,
rest.
behind the letters?
Yeah, it's within each letter, right? But it's so much more subtle than the other signs. So I took the pictures and I tried to come back and the door was locked. I called the desk, the chairman answered, but he wouldn't come down and let me in. So they didn't have the benefit of these pictures, is my point, right? So I don't think they fully could grasp or understand what was going on.
And this is what you're proposing, like this?
That's what we're proposing.
With just the letters
Just the
eliminated?
letters done. It's the exact same sign. And this board had approved the sign.
Nice sign.
So this is the original sign that was now replaced by the Greenberg-Trorig sign. That sign's in storage. I think it's gonna be Farrell Companies, not building, but it's the same exact sign.
And it'll be backlit from the
Yes,
letters.
from the letters.
Just like the
only.
Greenberg-Trorig.
It'll look just
And
like
what's
that.
the size of the Greenberg-Toric?
It is the same size as what we're proposing for this. And again, you hear a lot of cases, right? The sign's gonna be located in this area. And what's significant is there's the fence, because we have a retaining wall, right? So
So
people
you're
don't
making it
fall
higher.
over. So we're making it higher and bigger so that you can actually
So
see.
wait, what happened with landmarks? Repeat that.
Landmarks.
Does not support it.
It didn't support it.
Well, it didn't
No,
support
they
the
didn't
backlighting.
totally, yeah.
It's the backlighting and the size is what they objected to. And, it was unusual. I would say two things. One, don't ever send anybody there in a referral. Two,
Or at least you never did.
and we have to go back for a certificate of appropriateness. So
Right,
this is gonna be decided, by them. That board is really narrowly focused on what they do, which is historic, which is really important. But they said to me, we want a sign that looks historic. And I said, it's a modern building that was put up a year ago. That doesn't make any sense. And, I come before you tonight having done the Topping Rose House, was one of the projects that I had done. And I learned a lot from that case from the architects who said, you don't want to mimic historic structures. You want to make it different because that's what highlights them. So if you see the structures around the Topping Rose House, they're all architecturally very, very, very different. And it highlights the main building. One of the other subtleties is that there's a glass, I don't want to call it opening, but there's a glass area that separates the front of that Topping Rose from the back, and that was also a big deal to do. And I think if you look at the Marin building down here, where you have that Mansard-type architecture and then the office-looking thing in the back, that's what historic architecture is about, is building up the historic part and not taking away from it. And I think that point was lost Tuesday night.
On it. So Katie, how does that affect what
Yeah.
we are doing here tonight?
Yeah.
How does their
Assume
referral
they
report?
disapprove their certificate.
That's gonna be for the applicant to manage. I have no idea if they're gonna be able to, you need to get a certificate of appropriateness
Yes,
from the
I-
landmarks board before he gets a building permit, so I'm not
I-
entirely certain if you,
So we could
Grant the variance.
approve or deny and then it's up to landmarks?
Yes,
Okay.
yes. I mean, it's,
But in
you know,
other
these
words,
are
our
all new
approving
applications.
Doesn't
This is
give
a,
you
this
the
is a
Doesn't give
new,
you,
No,
doesn't give you
no,
the
I've got to go
sign.
back and
You
have
have to do
this.
battle with it.
Well, I'd like to say it's a battle, but.
Negotiation.
Yeah.
But this is a fairly, as I understand it, fairly new.
yes,
Yeah.
yes,
So,
and they
look,
are
they're
gonna be
working through
tasked.
some of
And-
the,
Agreed.
And they're
Yeah.
gonna be
And,
tasked
you know-
with preserving, they're gonna be tasked with preserving the historic district. I don't know how they're gonna balance that with, like you said, the pre-existing architecture that's now modern. I mean, I don't know.
I explained it far better tonight than I did Tuesday night, so.
so you have some homework to do.
Maybe that's why.
Yeah, right. So,
Well,
I mean,
you
I
know,
don't-
it's a learning
unexpected,
experience.
yeah.
It's gonna be a learning experience for everybody.
And I don't know if it matters, but this board approved the sign that, the Greenberg Traurig sign in that space, and you made some wonderful comments about it, and then the planning board and the ARB at the time did the same. I've put that decision in there for you. I won't bore you with reading it again.
What was I
I'm fine with it.
I have no questions.
I had something I was gonna ask you. What's the setback again?
16 and a half from the front,
Yeah.
5 feet from the side.
Okay, so that also requires a variance, as I recall.
Yes, yeah, we're asking for 5 variances. Those are two.
All right, so the side, the front,
The
the
backlit.
lighting, the size of the sign, and what's the fifth one?
Yeah, I don't remember.
Could you move it back at all?
Well, I think
I
that.
know you don't want to, but
The further back you move it, the less effective it is, right? And
Well, it's gonna be elevated, it's gonna be internally lit. I mean, I don't think that people are gonna miss it. I just think that, you know, asking for 5 variances for the sign is a fair amount.
Well, the other variance is because the building's not set back 40 feet. So you can only have a freestanding sign, so that was but it's a
because we
pre-existing.
gave relief on the building, now we gotta give relief.
No,
on
there was
the
no
sign.
relief on the building, it was pre-existing non-conforming. It got no relief. But that's the reason why, it has to be set back 40 feet to have a freestanding sign, which was the exact same thing next
Got
door.
it.
Next door is at 16 and a half feet, so it kind of, sort of bookends it and
The one next door is 16 and a half?
feet set
You're
back
asking for the same?
for the same exact thing.
Okay.
I kind of feel like the horse has already left the barn.
Well, I just don't know how it works with the landmarks, you know.
That's
when-
my problem.
Yeah.
Our
That's
decision
your
You don't have to
problem.
worry
is,
about
our
it.
decision
Yeah.
is
Yeah,
our
you don't.
decision,
Yeah.
theirs is theirs. So in light of all that history, I'm okay with this.
Let's close.
Anybody
Sure.
else wish to comment?
Okay. Comments, public.
Is there anybody in the audience who wishes to be heard on this topic?
Judge?
Is there anybody on Zoom who wishes to be heard?
One person.
Okay.
Let's hope there's no delay.
God, that's just so funny.
And then he'd start, then he'd hear. So-
Hi, I'm Pamela Harwood, can you hear me?
Yes, hi
Yes.
Pamela, you've been sworn in on this before.
Hello?
Okay.
3 minutes.
No, sorry.
Yeah, we have 3 minutes, Pamela.
I just want to say again that I feel that this application has once again been advertised incorrectly on the agenda. It says that it's an existing sign.
Right, we know that from last time, yeah.
Yes, I know, but I don't understand why that mistake is repeated. And I think it gives the
The what?
public a very wrong impression. I don't understand why. it's
Okay,
incorrect.
so Pamela, just so that you know, Candace says that the agenda, that the write-up in the agenda does not change, even though the application itself may be modified.
Okay, so I wanted to say that one of the largest complaints that we get in the civic is the preponderance of signage on Main Street in Bridgehampton. And so this is a big deal for the community. This applicant already has 2 signs attached to the building, one facing front, one facing west. I had gone to visit the site before the last hearing, and I had a conversation with Brian DeSessa, who's now a senior VP at Farrell, and he was telling me, well, you know, we can't do the correct setbacks according to code because the sign will be at our front door. And I didn't really know why that was. But then at your last public hearing, I found out it was because when this building was originally done, you know, as of right in the Hamlet office zone is 3,000 square feet. Beyond that, you need a special exemption up to 6,000 square feet. They were given that special exemption, but in order to get the required parking, what came out at the last hearing was the building had to be moved forward toward Montauk Highway in order to accommodate the 6,000 square foot building and the parking that was required. So this is a self-created problem. If that hadn't been done, if a smaller building was built to begin with, then there would have been the correct setbacks and a monument sign would have had plenty of room. But that is the reason why there is no room to put this monument sign in the front lawn without getting all the variances. And I agree with the chair, the amount of variances that are being requested for this are phenomenal. Setback relief, and illuminated sign. And another thing I have to say is that even though this building was built just a few years ago, it is not a modernist looking building as seems to have been implied earlier in this discussion.
You have 30 seconds, Pamela.
It's a gray shingle building. It looks in keeping with Bridgehampton Main Street. Just because it was built a few years ago doesn't mean that it has a modernist look. But this signage, which is large, which is a third sign on the building, I think is just excessive. And I remember at the last hearing, someone said, oh, well, you know, right now with the signs facing front and facing west, someone comes
That's 3 minutes.
can't, you know that the building is there. Well, everyone knows Farrell. This is not a company that needs to advertise. It's a well-established.
Okay,
company.
Pamela, you need to wrap it up.
Yes, you don't need a sign. You don't get business. Farrell doesn't get business from foot traffic. So what is this sign but a great big illuminated sign to advertise Farrell's brand?
Okay,
And I
thank
don't
you very
think it's
much.
necessary.
All right, thank you, Pamela, for your comments.
Just a couple of things. One, the setback is 20 feet. We're at 16 and a half. That's pretty minimal. Two, the building is at its setback because that was a pre-existing non-conforming setback. Three, you know, I don't know how to describe the architecture. Go look at it. You have the pictures, but
I've seen it.
Yeah, I don't think you know. Modern has a lot of glass.
Yeah,
These
I
have a
mean,
lot of glass.
you know, opinions are like opinions.
Right, okay, so, you know, and I think I have that argument with the landmarks board on the COA, but it's a 3.5-foot setback from the front. We are in a depressed part of the property, and that's why we're looking, what we're looking for. And again, I'd love to quote you guys on how nice the original sign that you approved, which has now become the Greenberg-Traurig sign, but look at the old decision. And it's a very tasteful, nicely done sign, and you can see from the pictures from Tuesday night in Bridgehampton, it's far more subtle than what's going on.
Okay.
Susan, we have 3 more people on Zoom.
Okay. Who's doing the timing?
Yep.
You're doing it?
Clicker.
All right.
You got the clicker? Where are you going? I'm coming over to say hi. Oh, okay, hi.
He misses being on this side.
Yeah, he does.
He's now an east sider, not a west sider.
Excuse me.
Hi, I think I've sworn you in before, correct? Can't hear you.
At the beginning of the 3 minutes, they already spoke.
Yes, did I swear you in before?
You're muted, sir.
Can't hear you.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah. All right. Please state your name and address.
James S. Olson, my address is 122 Lumber Lane. I've been a voting resident of Bridgehampton for nearly 40 years. There are 2 or 3 issues here. One is that this is a self-created problem. Pamela Harwood made that point. This is in the category of the old joke about the guy who murders his parents and then pleads for mercy on the basis that he's an orphan. And there's a general principle that people who have you don't build in such a way that you then create your own problem and then ask for relief from the problem. Secondly, the illuminated sign that we're talking about is entirely inconsistent with the historical district and the objectives of that district and the intent of that district. To that effect, the fact that there's another illuminated sign nearby, which was approved prior to the historic district, makes that prior approval irrelevant, not governing in this case. Frankly, the illuminated sign would be better situated in Las Vegas than in the rural hamlet of Bridgehampton. The building, in my view, is modern in the sense that it's new, but it is actually quite respectful of the architecture of the community, and I don't believe that anybody looking at it would describe it as a modern building. What we're dealing with here, as we discussed the last time, was we're dealing with preference. We're not dealing with hardship. We're dealing with somebody who simply wants things the way he wants them, when he wants them, regardless of what the code says. And the balancing, there's no significant balancing going on that would argue that this is putting up an illuminated sign of this size is necessary. I appreciate your
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
asking me to speak. Thank you.
Next person?
Hello?
Hello?
Hi, have I sworn you in before?
I believe so, yes, at least more than once.
Okay.
Yeah, I believe he's
Okay, go ahead.
Your name?
Your name and address.
Peter Bader, 371 Woodland Drive. I'm a member of I'm an officer of the Bridgehampton Civic. A lot of what I was going to say.
Excuse me, before you proceed, could you spell your last name, please?
Yes, it's 5 letters. F as in Frank, E-D-E-R.
Okay, thank you.
Okay. As the other speakers have already spoken on these issues, I just want to make a couple of points. It's amazing to me that after working long and hard to establish the historic district, that before the ink is even dry on it, people are starting to chip away at it. Variances for the sign, all these different things. You know, this is the historic district that's going to maintain the character of our community, of our hamlet. And to have large monument signs, backlit, and everything else, that is not in keeping with an historic district. And I just think the issue of precedence is very, very important. We had a lawyer for someone in Pine Neck, where I grew up, talking about using precedence, using all, as the various grantings of variances there, and how they were going to use those precedents to grant relief, for what this gentleman wanted to do. Precedents, if you continue to grant these precedents, in Bridgehampton, the value of the historic district is going to continue to be eroded before it's even begun. And I just hope the board, this board and other boards, would take that into effect going forward. Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you.
Next.
Okay. I just want to say something, the way I understand it, this zoning board waits for input from the planning board, waits for input from the conservation board before it makes its decisions. And I feel if we grant this variance and then you go through the process of the COA, C of A approval
Certificate of
process.
appropriateness.
Right. Again, we're trying to sort it all out. It's new.
Right.
So I personally would be opposed to granting a variance until you go through that process.
Well, respectfully, the buck stops here, or it starts here, right? We need to have the relief, or we're not talking about, location or area or size, or all the things that you need to go forward. So, in
We're
any
an
case.
appeal,
Right,
so.
I'm appealing.
Yeah, but you haven't gone through the process.
Well, I can't go through the process until you make a decision.
Why?
Take the planning board, because I need to know what I have and then what I can go ask for. Right now, I'm in limbo. I don't have a decision. I don't have a sign. If you took, a gas station that needed variances, you're not gonna send me to planning to do site plan when they don't know where legally the things can go. The process has to start here.
Yeah, I don't agree, so.
What is the COA, is it?
Yeah.
Certificate of appropriateness.
Right, from the landmark, from the historic board.
Correct.
What do they regulate? Do they regulate the same things that we do in terms of setbacks
No.
and things like that, or?
They do
it
not.
Just whether
appearance?
it's in conformity with, their idea
Appearance.
was like a historical,
Yeah.
I mean, what should occur within the historical district, as I understand it,
I mean, they don't,
Why can't we just face over until he meets at the landmark and we see what the landmark
no.
says?
Because there's nothing for them
We
to
have a
approve.
referral report from the landmarks board. I mean, this is just like you get a referral report from the planning board, just like anything else. Right now, the landmarks, you can't act as the appeals to the landmarks board
No,
because
right,
they
right.
they don't have any new guiding standards. Their standards are like David
But what
said.
I'm saying is, we act as an appeal when the building department
Correct.
turns down the permit.
Correct.
If they come back and they say, C of A, we're not approving this sign, the building department then says, we're not gonna grant you the permit to do the sign, then you come back to us. That's how I see it.
They've already identified the variances that they need. I mean, I understand what you wish, that's not what the code says. The code, it's that, I think maybe eventually that is what the code should say. Maybe the code should have standards that the landmarks board reviews, and then if they, then if the applicant's not satisfied, then we could be like we are for the coastal erosion board, right? Like we're the appeals board for the coastal erosion hazard, we could do that for landmarks, but right now, we have the opinion of the landmarks board, they've told you what they feel,
But
it's
they haven't
likely.
issued the C of A.
No,
We haven't
they
applied
won't
for it
even,
yet.
they can't even apply, they
can't.
can't even apply for
Why
it.
can't they?
Without
Because they need
variance.
to apply to get the building permit, they need variances in order to get a building permit.
And then they can still deny it.
Yeah, so this is the first step.
Yes.
This is the step that's before you. I mean,
Yeah.
this is the step that's before you. And you know how they feel. And it is likely, based on what they've said, it's likely they won't issue the COA because they don't like the illumination and they don't like the size. So
Has the building department given you, we appeal building
we
department
have
decisions.
the
We're
building
not
depart-
appealing, we're not an
No, no,
appeal.
no, the building, stop.
commission.
The building we know what the building department says because that's how we get to the
They said they would
ZBA.
need
The
written-
building department basically
no.
says you can't have a permit for this sign because it's too big, because it doesn't meet the setbacks. We know what the variances are. So this is a brand-new, unique situation, you can defer to the landmarks board, or you can say, that, we think it meets the 5-part test, we're gonna grant the variances, good luck getting the certificate of appropriateness, and this will be, we've only
Right.
seen like 3 of these, I mean, we don't know what's gonna happen.
Moving on here.
We granted relief for this actual physical sign in an actually physically a pretty identical location
Yeah.
in the past. And that's Now, is it our job to take the new historic district into account?
It's your job to weigh the referral report you got. I mean, that's, you know, I
Okay.
mean, you say it
Can I-
all the time when you're
Can
weighing.
I see that? I don't have a copy of that.
Yeah, we literally,
It just got emailed to us.
Oh, in the new ones?
Yeah.
It came,
Wow.
came,
It's in the new ones.
Yeah.
came in the email, and the
Emailed in a
landmarks board does.
I mean, these are difficult. These are difficult applications now because we've never had to consider the landmarks board as we are now. Usually you hear the landmarks board where an applicant saying, you know, the landmarks board loves my house, please help me preserve it, like we had, you know, last week, or when we had people coming from the landmarks board because they want to have a special use, you know, I mean,
Right.
usually we work, you know, together with the landmarks board, but it's built into the code that way. This one, you know, we referred it, the applicant happily went to them, they've gotten their feedback, you have to do the balancing test.
If I
But
may,
even if we approve it, it doesn't necessarily mean that,
no,
that you're gonna
I-
receive
yeah, we have
ultimate.
a hard road to hoe, but we'll do our best. And if I could quote this board in a previous setup, upon review of the same, the board agreed that the proposed sign is both attractive and aesthetically pleasing and will not have an adverse impact on the surrounding vicinity. The lighting source creates a subtle, shadow-like effect and is quite visually appealing. In this instance, under the aforesaid circumstances, this board is inclined to allow this unique style of unobtrusive, non-reflective illumination.
I think
It
we
was prior
overstepped our,
to the
we overstepped
landmark.
our bounds.
Right.
Yes, I know.
No, well,
But that landmark shouldn't affect us at all.
Right, but
Well, it does.
they're gonna be the final arbiter.
They'll decide what they approve. and
They're the
don't approve.
final arbiter.
what's gonna happen is you'll decide location, they'll
Yeah.
decide what it looks like,
Correct.
right? That's
Yeah.
what's gonna happen. I mean,
Well,
that's-
location, height, you're asking for a variance as to height?
Right, but that's what you're deciding.
Right, that's what I'm
location,
saying.
yeah.
Location,
Right,
height,
right.
They'll
And
decide what it
then
looks
they'll
like.
decide.
and
what it
whether or
looks
not
like.
you can have an illuminated sign there.
Correct.
They'll determine, it's like the ARB. They're gonna determine what it should look like, whether it conforms to the character of the community.
That's correct.
And
Yes and no. I mean, they're suggesting that the illumination
I think they
and the size
probably
does
have-
not. I mean, there's an overlap.
and-
There's an uncomfortable overlap.
And your advocacy argument as to other impudent signs is not appreciated. I didn't know a sign could be impudent, but
Well, I'm
sure.
not sure what that meant, but they asked
Did
me
they
if.
mean impotent?
Impudent,
Um,
offensive.
They asked me whether the other ones had variances or not,
Yeah.
and I said, you
Or
know, they're
actually
pretty close, but I'm
disrespectful.
not gonna be the person that turns somebody else in
Right.
on their property.
I
I did. I just have a disagreement on.
go ahead, Helen.
On the process.
Yeah.
And on the timing.
Susan,
Yes.
I just want to say, David, you don't have my vote.
I disagree on the, you know, I think, again, we're trying to sort it out and see how this works. But I don't, go ahead, Helen, go ahead.
My changes that make it more palatable, but the way it is now. No, I mean, I don't know, the other member,
The sign has existed there for 14 years. I mean, I know it was replaced, but it's the same
The
sign.
Greenberg sign.
Greenberg, there was one
Yes.
at the Greenberg sign. That was the.
Yes,
was
no,
the-
we,
that-
yeah, I saw it.
So it was there for 14 years without complaint. This is a new space, but it's, you know, they're like sister buildings.
I
One's at one
understand.
end, one's at the other end. And the process, I can't go to the landmarks board without your approval. I don't have an application, right? I'm asking to be able to have a sign there. Unless you grant me that ability, I don't have the ability to go there.
I
Right.
don't understand that.
Well, I'm not.
I don't get that. You mean you can't fill out an
no,
application
has nothing
based
to-
on what you've got in front of you in terms of the height and the size and you can't fill that out without us dealing with it
I
first?
can certainly fill it out, Susan.
Yeah, okay.
But it is meaningless. I'm not allowed to have a sign there as the situation exists today. I can't make an application
Unless you have the
where I don't
variances.
have the right to have the sign. And
Okay,
Well,
so-
but maybe then we have to separate out the setback from some of the dimensional stuff too. I mean, I mean,
Or the appearance.
yeah, we have to separate out the appearance. Maybe we don't approve the appearance, we just approve the setback because of the 40 feet and the depression
No, but
and
the
the,
appearance, you're talking about the illumination.
yeah, the
The
size and the
illumination.
illumination, the size and the illumination.
And the only difference is,
I would accept that. I would. And I don't think he needs our,
It's just wrong.
yes, in order to
You're
go
getting the
to
process wrong.
I think
It's
Katie's
frustrating.
made it clear what this board is charged to do.
No.
And you can, I mean, I'm not sure I understand what the confusion is. You can grant all of these variances, you can grant none of these variances. You can defer to the
Right.
landmarks board and say, we agree with you on X and X, but you haven't objected to the setbacks, so we will grant the setbacks. You can say, we didn't have a problem with the Greenberg Touring sign, and we think it's consistent, and, then, I mean, this is totally different from the conservation board, right? Where Marty will review your conservation board application, and he's gonna grant whatever he wants, and then the applicant comes to us hoping that we will also grant those variances. They can't get a certificate of appropriateness without an application for a building permit, and then they can't get an application for a building permit because the sign does not comply.
Exactly.
So you can't separate, you
Well,
can grant
they
in part
can't-
and deny in
wait,
part.
You said without an application for a building permit.
They've already made an application for a building permit, which
And we're
has been
denied.
denied because the
Variances.
sign does not comply with the illumination, with the height, with the setback.
So they
You
need to get the
need-
building permit in
You
order
need
to
to
go.
act. You need to act. You can,
Yes.
you grant them all of it, deny all of it, grant in part, deny in part, you have to act.
Yeah,
It's illumination, height.
and
sca-
setbacks.
And size, right?
Yes.
Size.
Size and setback.
Well, there are 5 things.
Right.
And one,
Okay.
just for good luck.
Well, do you have 4 votes on this board?
I don't know.
I'm fine.
I know I don't have 2.
How's the rest
I
of the
would
board
be
feel?
willing to grant the setback. And I might even be willing to grant the size. I don't know, what was the other objection? They had objection to the size and the illumination.
I'm okay with this in itself at this time.
Look,
I'm not saying that I would be
The
okay
landmark's
with
gonna
it.
do what they wanna do anyway.
Landmark is
Future
gonna
with
do
a
what
new
they're gonna
building.
wanna do.
And the
we're
illumination
getting
is
tied
gonna
up
be
on that.
part
Yeah.
of their,
That's the problem.
they're gonna be
trying
part of it, but again, I think as I said before, they didn't see what I gave you. I didn't have the opportunity to do that, and I think if they saw it, there's gonna be a different view of it, I believe, and I
You
believe
hope.
I'll be able to make a better argument. I didn't.
But that's not for us to.
And that's not for you,
We're trying to
but I think
superimpose ourselves as
illumination
trend-
is
as
a
landmark
part of
preservation.
there.
We're not.
When I say you decide place, they decide what it looks like. Illumination will be a possibility, but I believe that's something that they could object to.
But they also, they can't grant you variances for illumination. If this board says no illumination, the landmarks board can't then say, we'll allow him to illuminate it, because they don't have the authority.
No,
Right.
it's the opposite that I'm
Correct.
saying. If this
Correct.
board grants it, I still have to convince
Correct.
that board,
Correct.
right, because how it looks.
And
They still may
Could-
say no illumination.
Correct,
Could we grant it and they say no illumination and
Yes.
you end up putting that same sign up there without illumination?
correct.
Yes.
Exactly.
Okay.
Then we'll just
so-
uplight it
Exactly.
or downlight
We're
it.
trying to-
We should just
Totally.
act.
Correct.
We should close this public hearing, set it down for written decision.
Okay, this is yours, John, so you're
Yes,
making the,
so
you're
I'm making a
the
motion to
recommendation.
close the public hearing, set it for written submissions to April 5th, and with a decision on April 18th.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Daley.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Todd Hill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Have a good night.
You too.
You guys want to start with keep
Okay,
starting with the
goodies.
decision, since we have the judge here?
Okay,
Okay.
yes.
Thank you, David.
Judge, which one is yours?
I'm gonna
SA
do
123.
249 Surfside Drive LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-117-2-20. This application is for property located at 249 Surfside Drive in Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks variances to construct a FEMA-compliant, unconditioned breezeway to connect the house to the premises to a house on the adjacent lot. While this request is unusual, this board does not, under this set of facts and circumstances, and with very specific conditions,
This board does. You said does not.
The board does find.
this board does find,
Got it.
under this set of facts and circumstances, and with very specific conditions, that the application passes the standards set forth in New York State town law and the town code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the town code to construct a covered screen, unconditioned, second-story breezeway to connect the dwelling on this lot to the adjacent lot to the east. 1, Town Code 330-84D, a pyramid encroachment in the amount of 2,337.94 cubic feet. And 2, Town Code 330-115D, continuance for a principal minimum side yard setback of 0 feet where 15 feet is required, and a total side yard setback of 20 feet where 35 feet is required, as shown on the site plan prepared by Ferentalo Group PC, last revised February 14, 2024. And the pyramid diagram prepared by Christopher James Coy, architect of Barnes Coy Architects, last dated November 17th, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant is already acquired and may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the filing of a covenant with the Suffolk County Clerk's Office by June 30th, 2024, subject to the approval from the Town Attorney's Office requiring the removal of the covered screen unconditioned second-story breezeway from both houses upon the sale or transfer of either this parcel or the adjacent parcel identified as Suffolk County Tax Map 900-177-2-21, where common control of both parcels no longer exists.
Is there a second?
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Mastonio.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
No.
Ms. Burgess.
No,
Chair votes aye.
Then you have to do this one. Thank you.
There you have it.
Whatever you want.
Thank you.
Okay, the other one I have is SA 123 LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-177-2-21. This application is for property located at 263 Surfside Drive in Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks variances to construct a FEMA-compliant, unconditioned breezeway to connect the house on the premises to a house on the adjacent lot. While this request is unusual, this board does not find under this set of facts
Does fine.
and circumstances and with specific conditions that the application passes standards set forth in New York State town law and the town code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the town code to construct a covered screen, unconditioned, second-story breezeway to connect the dwelling on this lot to the adjacent lot to the west. Town Code 330-84D, pyramid height for a pyramid encroachment in the amount of 2,496.48 cubic feet and Town Code 330-115D continuance for a principal minimum side yard setback of 0 feet where 15 feet is required, and total side yard setback of 18.4 feet where 35 feet is required, as shown on the site plan prepared by Ferrantello Group PC, last revised February 14, 2024. The pyramid diagram prepared by Christopher James Coy, architect of Barnes Coy Architects, last dated November 17, 2023. The grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant is already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, including the filing of a covenant with Suffolk County Clerk's Office by June 30th, 2024, subject to the approval from the Town Attorney's Office, requiring the removal of the covered screen on conditions second-story breezeway from both houses upon the sale or transfer of either parcel or the adjacent parcel identified as Suffolk County Tax Map 900-177-2-20, where common control over both parcels no longer exists.
Second.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
No.
Ms. Burgess.
No,
Chair votes aye.
Okay.
Okay, Bob?
Okay, we have,
You're done.
this is a decision for 142 Shore Road LLC, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-76-3-49. This application for property located at 142 Shore Road, North Sea. Applicant seeks variances for a proposed covered porch to a pre-existing dwelling on a lot burdened by 2 front yards. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed covered porch. 1, Town Code Section 330-115C, continuance for a principal front yard setback of 27.1 feet from the northerly property line, Shore Road, where 27.9 feet is pre-existing, and 2, Town Code Section 330-11, Residential District Table of Dimension Regulations for a total lot coverage of 21.28%, where a maximum of 20% is permitted, as shown on the survey prepared by Meets and Bounds Survey, last revised October 28, 2023, and the floor plans and elevations prepared by David H. Sherwood Architect, floor plans last dated March 3rd, 2023, and elevations last dated January 18th, 2024. Grant of the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may be otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises, and is conditioned upon all fences being removed from the corner clearance area and the right-of-way prior to the issuance of any certificates for the covered porch.
Second.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
aye,
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. Okay, I have 2 decisions. In the matter of Carlos Arena and Michael Mazzano, Suffolk County Tax Map 900-88-1-14. This application is for property located at 2569 Montauk Highway, Bridgehampton. Applicant seeks variances for a proposed addition, patio, and shed on a property that boasts a pre-existing dwelling that the applicants seek to preserve. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and the Town Code. Therefore, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code. 1, for a proposed addition, Town Code Section 330-11, Residential District Table of Dimensional Regulations, for a required total side yard setback of 30.4 feet, where 45 feet is required, and Town Code Section 330-84D, pyramid height, for a total pyramid encroachment in the amount of 1,164.13 cubic feet. Existing is 1,160.7 cubic feet on the east side, and a proposed 3.43 cubic feet on the west side. And 2, Town Code Section 330-83C, yards, and Town Code 330-76D, placement of accessory buildings, structures, and uses in all districts, to allow a proposed patio to be located within the minimum required side yard, and for a proposed shed to be located within the minimum and total required side yard. for the principal building as shown on the floor plans and elevations prepared by architect Fernando S. Gonzalez, last dated February 1st, 2024, and the survey prepared by David L. Sakis, land surveyor, last dated October 18th, 2023. Grant of the following relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval of the subject premises.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess.
Aye.
Chair votes aye. And the last one is 370 Fowler Street LLC, Suffolk County, tax map 900-178-1-22.1. This application is for property located at 370 Fowler Street, Watermill. Applicant requests variances to install deck-mounted solar panels to a one-family dwelling under construction. This application passes the standards set forth in New York State Town Law and Town Code. Therefore, and for the reasons set forth herein, this board grants relief from the following provisions of the Town Code for a proposed deck-mounted solar panel PV system, addition to a one-family dwelling under renovation. 1. Town Code Section 138-7A Coastal Erosion Management Permit required compliance with provisions effect on zoning regulations to allow the solar panel system to be located in an erosion hazard area. And 2. Town Code Section 330-46.2B1 adjacent areas for an accessory setback of 65.1 feet where 125 feet is required, as shown on the survey prepared by Lester Holden, L.S. of Squires Holden, Weissenbacher, and Smith, last revised August 3rd, 2023, and the elevation prepared by Andrei Kikoski, architect, August 1st, 2023. Granting the foregoing relief is subject to such other conditions and permits as applicant has already acquired or may otherwise have to acquire for final approval, including the replacement of the project limiting silt fence barrier.
Second.
Mr. Leonard.
Aye.
Mr. Macedonia.
Aye.
Mr. Daly.
Aye.
Mr. Tudhill.
Aye.
Ms. Burgess. Chair votes aye. Do I have a motion?
Motion to close.
Wait, one more? No, motion to close. Second.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Okay, meeting's closed.